All right, thanks so much, guys. We are getting into the close. Welcome back once again to the extended version of the close. We take you right through to 4 p.m. until 4 p.m. We're going to get into some trading opportunities, obviously coming up in the next couple of hours, but we'll also discuss some topics that are floating around. Market-related, Tesla making big moves. We're going to discuss some opinions regarding where possibly Tesla could be going. Coming up here, it's been a bit of a muted day. We've had quite the week, obviously, both directions. It's been pretty volatile once again, but a bit of a muted day overall for the indexes here. You can see the S&P 0.13, the Dow to the downside today, 0.36. It was the inverse yesterday. We saw the Dow actually showing a little bit of strength, while the Nasdaq tech stocks and the Nasdaq were leading to the downside. So a bit of a recovery day as we kind of digest this inflation data and inflation fear that is continuing to linger in the background. Here in Toronto, about 0.5% for the TSX. Currently, Brazil having a nice day, 1.6%. Bottom end of the board here, cryptocurrencies are strong. Once again, Ethereum, man, just cannot stop all week long. 4% again today. Back to the upside. Bitcoin, yeah, it's positive, but only just 0.8% in positive territory as well. We will check out a few things that are happening when it comes to individual stocks as well. I want to touch on what is leading this market back to the upside today. As we've been saying over the past couple of weeks, during earnings season, you get a whole bunch of kind of big outsized moves offsetting each other, leaving the market typically overall pretty flat. We'll take it. 0.18 to the upside right now. It's all about tech stocks that are leading in positive territory, specifically the semiconductor group. AMAT, Micron right there, almost 2% each. Nvidia, 2.8%. A couple of upgrades on Nvidia. Price target increases today. AMD following suit as well, 3.5%. Once again, Enphase after earnings, 8.5%, having a great day. Some of the software names to the downside, limiting the overall move, but it is, once again, tech stocks leading. Consumer discretionaries back to the upside as well. We had Tapestry in positive territory right out of the gate this morning. They reported better than expected earnings. Some of the travel-related names, Penn, Wynn here, Booking.com as well. I saw reported S-Bucks, Starbucks, back in negative territory. Some of the cruise lines there, CCL to the downside. Some news earlier in the week on Carnival. There's Pool. They reported in the retail sector 4% higher. GM leading the automotive group today, 3.5%. There's Disney. We talked about that if you joined us early on this morning. Still 6% in negative territory. EA, 4%. Netflix there. Discovery having a pretty good day as well. So some of the resource type names having positive showing as well today. FCX with a big report, 9.2%, helping to offset the weakness overall. Let's quickly flip over to the NASDAQ and show you JD here, 5.9%. 7.4%. It wasn't refreshing there. PDD as well, 7% in the consumer discretionary names. We talked about Singles Day. There's Baidu as well, 4% to the upside. EA, I mentioned already. So the Nasdaq Strong, and again, it comes down to some of the semiconductors and tech stocks specifically trying to lead the market higher after a bit of a negative showing yesterday. Just saw Moderna there as well, 2.5% to the downside. There was some vaccine-related stories floating around in the pre-market that we touched on as well. We're going to get into, to kick things off this afternoon, some opportunities that we teed up, if you will, in the pre-market this morning. If you joined us right out of the gate, talking about a few names that were moving in the pre-market, and specifically one that Sean is going to get into right now. Here comes time for a review.
It's trade review time, and we were going to do Rivian, but we did Rivian yesterday. So today we're going to talk a little bit about SoFi. SoFi, finally, the report comes out. It's the one we're waiting for. They've been on a nice little run here, SoFi, lately. Obviously, this is a daily chart, so just coming from 13 and change back in September all the way to $24, $25. So you've almost got a double up in just a little bit of time here. So SoFi on the watch today, and why was it on the watch today? Very, very simple. We just said earnings, but earnings are not good enough. They beat, right? Better than expected on EPS. But the key for me was the forward guide, guided over $1 billion versus 985. So not only was their current or their past quarter better than expected, but they're also guiding forward. So to me, those are two things that we really like. And we know that there's a lot of eyeballs on SoFi. So especially off its recent action, you know, we ticked up here 23.24, back down to 21.50. So we knew that there was going to be some movement here. Pretty happy with SoFi. So what did we look at today? We only wanted longs, right? And what we were looking at was this level right here, 22.50. We bounced off there a couple times. Obviously the very bottom there, 21.50. We didn't think that was going to come into play. So we really sort of rested on this trade right here, and that was going to be 22.50. Now, of course, we take it right away early as it comes back down. We're just kind of cruising up here, 24.50. As you can see the top, some of these wicks happening early on in the day. We never want to get involved with too many shares on the first few minutes of earnings. You see why with Disney today, and you're going to see why with SoFi. There's no way I can figure this all out. When the top is 24.70 and then the very bottom of that same candle is 23.20, that's a little bit too violent there. So this is too violent. But we wait and take a very, very small position here at 23.50 because, hey, goes up, comes back down $1, we take that long. But we don't really get out. We get out right there on a nice little spike up. That's 50 cents clean. Then we're done, right? And then it just falls back down. We stop defending these areas because we see these bottom wicks. We take a note right here at 23 even, okay? That's where we take the shares. So we get long at 23 even, knowing that 22.50 is going to be a spot where we're going to get out. So it's 50 cents worth of risk, which is fine. But I go into scout mode all the time anyways. So we get this fill here, and all of a sudden starts bumping up 23.20, 23.25, 23.30 right there at VWAP. Then boom, breaks through. This is only one trade. Then breaks through VWAP right there, 23.80 out. Right there as a top, bouncing around. That was a pretty good top, right? Comes back down, breaks, we leave it alone, starts to move up. Now this is where we get a little silly. We should probably have taken some of this out because we should have just identified that this was going to be a possible range there, right? Anyways, comes back in, breaks through 24, and we wind up getting out our last piece right there. I'm trying to do a little bit better holding some of these plays, right? I don't know if it's going to go back up. I actually thought it was going to retest those highs. Doesn't do it, comes in. Should have probably got out here around 24.40-ish. Didn't do it. Ah, well, what can we do? But there's VWAP right down here. You can see by the blue, we're still right here, 23.90 or so on the day. I had to zoom it back out to get a better look here. But SoFi, look, all you got to do, it's on my sticky note, back long until 22.50. So it's on the sticky note, it's on the watch list. You got to be prepared for stocks now. It's earnings season. When they guide forward and they beat, that's a recipe for success for me. So it's your trade of the day, and it's SoFi.
This is the time we have to be paying attention to earnings names specifically. Sean highlighting a great opportunity in SoFi today. AFRM as well, another one with a monster report, a monster move that we touched on if you joined us early on this morning in the pre-market where we discussed the watch list, all of those names on the watch list and many, many more. Guys, if you are looking for an absolutely free resource every single day, we send it out every single morning in the pre-market at 8:30 before we come on. This week, brought to you by marketscreener.com. If you're into European markets, check out marketscreener.com. They have lots of great content, lots of great news, and good resource for overall for European markets. So we just heard about SoFi. We're going to talk about a firm here coming up, but I wanted to mention Penn just popping up here, 5% to the upside on significant volume. Mr. Portnoy apparently making some comments currently about that very negative article that came out going back to, if you check the daily chart out over here that day. So just making some comments right now. So a heads up on Penn. DraftKings also moving around on that. So we'll keep an eye on this, but you can see, I mean, what goes up very quickly typically comes right back down about this time of the day. And not much volume here on the follow-through side of things for Penn National. But maybe we'll bring in Neil here and get his take on this because, I mean, we're obviously not entirely sure what is being said, if anything significant, but got to go where the volume is, Neil, as we say. And right now that is in Penn.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And obviously, we're talking about this when when they had the rough earnings for Penn and then the extension of the move down when that article came out. And look, candidly, of course, we're not listening right now live to what Mr. Portnoy is going to be saying. So it's hard to really judge the price action. Clearly, the response in itself is going to get a positive tick. And I think in any case where, when we had that drop down, it was about 265, and then you could probably attribute that to earnings. And when the article started circulating, that's when you saw things fall further down. Now, if you start thinking about that, then I look at maybe not even 65, but this like 63.5 area where things had settled back down into the next day is maybe the more reasonable resistance level for sort of the post-earnings disappointment that they had in Penn. There's a sympathy move up happening in DraftKings, which I suppose makes a little bit of sense. But until I can digest the details of what's going on, I'm not going to sit here speculating outside of understanding that a good portion of the pullback was after that this other article had gotten released, and so therefore there's a decent chance they could make a bit of a move. It's got to chew through this 60 to even sniff that 63 lower high. So a lot of ways to go, and I'm sure we'll have to wait for it to settle down. In a couple of positions, you got to be able to see here. Nvidia broke 350. I've already scalped some out. Sorry, 305. I've already scalped some out, and it's like the second time through that I'm long in this route. Well, I mean, yeah, technically it's like the third time through, I should really say, because I did have it earlier on in the day. Second time this afternoon since it took the top, a 6 even break, and now a 625 break. So I'm just kind of playing it this way. Like, I took a 560 here, which is kind of randomish. It was a current sort of high on a higher time frame, and then now it's just even dollar break. So I'll probably do the same thing, cover in front of 650, take a 650 break, big time short interest. You guys have probably heard it before that I say I like Lemonade more than Root, but Root has a massive short interest and has been getting beaten up, then had a decent report. That's why it's heading up today.
Yo, what's up? Go back to Brendan.
Yeah, sure. We'll jump into a couple of things here, guys. I was watching PPSI was breaking some levels there. I wanted to talk about Affirm because Affirm was another one that was top of the list this morning when it comes to opportunities that we were discussing in the pre-market off of their earnings report and also off of the deal with Amazon. So if you remember going back about a month ago, we talked about Affirm, the buy now, pay later firm, obviously teaming up with Amazon with select clients or select customers, I guess, being able to put purchases on their buy now, pay later service. They've now expanded that to essentially anyone and everyone who buys anything $50 and above. You can now put that on buy now, pay later for Affirm, guys. So we saw a big pop higher, obviously, in the pre-market on the earnings and that news. But this one was a bit of a fade.
Bit of a fade is an understatement. It was a gigantic fade. And I said in the morning show that I made a huge mistake with this. And the mistake was I had a particular short that I wanted. And once I didn't get it, I just completely wrote off the idea of going short. And it was, you had the spike high because it gapped up, but it got crushed yesterday. So when you gapped up this morning, you were essentially at this lower high from when it made the top at 177. And that lower high in the afternoon was right here at 171. You come in, that was the pre-market high, so I was looking for a fade at 9:30 on the good news, on the great earnings report, on this, the furthering of the Amazon deal, and then we'd get a fade into 171, and I could short it off of that high. That never happened. It broke the low. I didn't take it, and then I was just bottom picking every single cluster, taking the loss here, and then taking a bottom pick here, and then losing, and then trying this level here, and then not getting it. Oh, and of course, because we're live while we're doing this, I have to flip over to EVGO, which was a double top at 19. I did short that double top, like I said when we left the show. It is now reversed. It is broken 19 even, and I am long 19.05. So that's a double top on the 15-minute chart. EVGO for sure. I think Affirm long-term, I love them. I still own them. I had about a bit of a misread because I did initially think there was a good chance for a rollover, but you have to be able to have a trade. And I couldn't find myself into one. We'll ring the register on EVGO in front of 19.25, probably in front of 20 as well. This stock is off to the races. There's been a few in the EV space that have been pretty strong today. QuantumScape, Plug Power as well, Sean. A couple of big ones, but EVGO maybe leading the way up 25%.
Yeah, I don't think there's any surprise here that Affirm, is resting right around here. I mean, this is a 20-minute chart. So if you go back and you just look, like we've had some consolidation in this area with a bottom of 148, which just happens to be the bottom today, and then the very, very similar resting spot to the high side today, which is like 154. So I think just in here is where Affirm will lie down. We talked about them missing the report. They don't do that, but they do get hit pretty bad here to the downside so far today. I mean, still a nice little move. I mean, you can't complain if you're an Affirm shareholder today because again, they didn't disappoint. Although you're disappointed with the action here today, still a nice move up. And then I mean, on on the daily chart, this is a 1-minute chart, so that's a 20-minute chart, so there should be a daily chart here somewhere. You know, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, it's a great chart for anybody that's long a firm. So I would stay long the name, and it looks like it's trying to hold out. I mean, if you are concerned about this, I think you could take your profits here at 145 if you wanted to. So I don't know if we get back down to there yet today. I mean, the bottom's 147.50, so it's already told you to hold. So I don't know. I think it's good to go there. Just like SoFi held at 22.50, I think a firm's here holding this 145, 147. So I would stay long a firm, and it seems like it's a good call.
Michael Burry at it again, guys. We're talking about Tesla. He's out again this week with a crazy call on Tesla. And, you know, we have to ask the question here, is this just for another headline? We're going to discuss a few things coming up here. We're going to talk a little bit about what Elon Musk said last year when he said maybe Tesla was overvalued at 160. Yeah, remember that? Elon selling shares this week. We discussed in depth about that. And let's be realistic and talk a little bit about where this stock could go. Let's first have a look at what I'm talking about in this headline. And there it is. The Big Short's Michael Burry talking about a possible 90% plunge in Tesla shares. Yeah, so Elon said last year 160 was too much for Tesla. I mean, a lot to digest here, guys. As I mentioned, is this just him trying to get another headline?
I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it's a yes. It's a yes and a no, because like he probably actually believes it. Of course, he's trying to get a headline. Like that's, I mean, it is what it is. But the other side of it is that apparently he did have some puts on it earlier and made an actual bet that this was the top. Is it factually true that Elon said at 160 that it was overvalued? Of course it's true. And if you were watching our live show, you'd probably remember it was a great short, because when the tweet came out, it was just, as a day trader, it was a fantastic moment. And certainly when you look at the chart, and we sort of warned of this, that it had gotten up to a high where you expected to be a pullback, and $1 trillion companies don't necessarily make moves like this that quickly from like that 900 to that 1250 level. You throw on top of that Elon, telegraphed that he was going to be selling, which everyone should have probably known already. It's a heck of a lot more impressive to say it before it's already done a capitulation from 1250 to 1,000 on the Elon selling news. I mean, if you make that same statement before that bloodbath earlier in the week, I think it carries a little bit more weight. But I don't know. Maybe he had some puts before and just wants to see them come down again. But Elon might not be done selling those shares. So I guess the timing, if you were going to make this call, probably the right time to do it after a lot of people just got scared on that recent move.
Look, I mean, Michael Burry is 100% looking for a headline. I mean, the guy's been irrelevant since 2008 and will continue to be. I mean, look at the crypto call he made. Great call on that one, right? Like, yeah, altcoins going back down. Good job on that one. Also, good call on Bitcoin at 30,000, now 70,000. Great call on Ethereum. I mean, great call on Tesla. The article says right here, here's Tesla. Short in late 2020. Okay. Good job. Short in late 2020, right? So where was he short then? Here at 463, or did he get blown out when it was at 900, right? In late January. So I mean, I don't know how many of you can hold on, even if you're doing options. They're not cashable. None would have hit. And if he still held them to the very bottom there, then that's great into March. But he was short into late 2020. If he held them all the way there, I have no idea. But I mean, where did he put these on? I don't know. To me, this is just a joke. And obviously, we're going to get a headline from this, and hopefully he does as well. So congratulations, Michael Burry. Your call on Tesla is absolutely horrible, and it's been that way forever. So good job.
There's the Twitter aspect to this, obviously, as well, guys. On the weekend, Elon comes out, says he's going to maybe sell 10% of his stake. He was going to do that anyways for tax purposes, so putting a positive spin on that angle of this story. So Elon selling, Michael Burry says, yeah, it's going to go lower after a couple of big down days. I mean, this has been an epic move for this stock anyways, so kind of due for a pullback. That's a little look, guys, on Michael Burry and what he thinks Tesla is going to do in the next coming days. Let's continue along with what we were discussing in the pre-market, guys. We were going to also have a look here at the big headline from yesterday, which is obviously Rivian making its debut at $100 billion valuation yesterday at the IPO. Gave you all kinds of opportunities again today, guys.
Yeah, tons of opportunities. We said with that valuation, it's like, man, your GM has to go up. It's actually going up today because they haven't been dragged along by this. And when you have an IPO, there's not a lot of levels to look off of, right? Like you have 1 day's worth of price history. If it goes down, I guess you could probably look at earlier rounds of funding and do some calculations, but that's if it goes down. In this particular case, it opened above the issue price. It held above that despite the sharp pullback that it made, and then it just highlighted a couple of things here. Now, obviously, you're going to look on the way down from that 120 top. We'll get to 120 in a bit. A couple of lower highs got put in. This one here at about 113.5. And then this bigger one here at 110.50. So we call it like a 110 level, and then it flushed down, made a double bottom. I was eyeballing 110 because of that reason. You had pre-market highs there. It was a break and a dip at that price with a target in front of that 113.50. It was then a dip back into that same price with a target at that same level. I did hold through because of how bullish it was, back up until this 115 high. And then it was just breakouts, double top. When it put in that double top, we took breaks to that level. And then the only short was going to be off of 120, like we said in the morning, and then 125, right? So I wish I had held the 125. Trader Prad held it longer than I did. But either way, neither did VWAP. And it comes right back into the previous high. So sometimes when there's not a heck of a lot to go by in terms of prices, it can simplify things. So make sure you zoom out. Just identify the levels you like here. I don't know if it's done for the day, especially after it's held. You know, this 115 to 116 area gives it a chance to maybe bounce back up towards that high. My gut feeling tells me if it gets to 125 again, you know, it's likely to make a run through that price. So any short I take off the top would have to be on a failed break. Like, I don't think I'd want to just sit in front of that level. If it manages to be bullish enough in the next hour and a half to just shoot up $7 here, you know, decent chance there's be enough people running to the hills out of their shorts that it'll take out that level.
So right here, you only need one resource. You have the sticky note right here, Rivian, right away this morning, guys. Great trade yesterday, looking for more today. Long already in the pre-market. Watch the 105 support there, and we'll put that in the chat. Look, too many people are faking our account, so there you go. Just hit that. You can hit a follow there. Almost 26,000 followers. But here it is, right here. Here's Rivian, and it was kind of an easy trade. The long we just talked about that all day here. There's the 105 bottom that we called earlier. It was an easy one. Just the pre-market bottom. I didn't think we would test it. And there's the one trade there, long, right off the 108 break, and right out at 112.50. We did try a 120 break early. Got out there at 118 when it came back in, and then it started to tick up to the high side. Like that 125, what a great short that was. We weren't even looking at it at that point, but great short there. I know Prad caught some money on that short, but I would still stay long here. This will fall down quite a bit, and it's going to happen pretty soon, but it's not going to happen today or tomorrow. I think it'll be next week. We'll see this come back to life, but for right now, we're enjoying the ride up on Tesla. We're enjoying it on Fisker, and all thanks to Rivian. And by the way, also, man, check out Ford. Like, you know, we've been playing this for a while, Ford. Our last buy is at 13, so you go 13 to 19, pretty good. We've been cashing some out here, but as you can see, it's kind of decoupling from it right now. Remember, they have 12% of Rivian, so we'll wait to hear if and when they're selling. There's going to be a lockup period, you know, and all this stuff. So as Rivian continues to climb up, so does Ford. But I have been telling traders here and on my Twitter and live on the show that I think we should be taking some out, and we've been doing that. So, you know, the bump up due to Rivian and Ford, great earnings, everything like that. But EVs right now, all the rage. So if and when Rivian comes down, which I believe it probably settles down around 90 or something like that, I do expect Ford to fall as well. So watch out if you are a Ford shareholder and you do think that Rivian is on the way down. So I don't think it's on the way down now, like I said, but you know, just like Dutch Bros, we called that when it was 58. I said this probably goes back to 50. It went to 42. So, and now it's back up, right? So you're going to have to give it some love, a little bit. Rivian, give it some time to come back down. But I think Ford's another play that you have to look at if you're a Rivian shareholder.
Earnings season is a great time to trade, but it can also be a very confusing time to trade because of just, you know, too many options when you come in the morning. One, Sean, that we have discussed in depth on the show in the past, out with a pretty dismal quarter, and that is Beyond Meat. I'm speaking of. Down significantly in the pre-market. There really hasn't been, I mean, it's 225. Really hasn't been much of a bounce here today for Beyond Meat. I mean, this is in trouble, obviously.
It wasn't that bad a bounce. I mean, I don't know. I think look, all things in context, right? Because we'll go to the higher time frame so you get an idea. It's not a bad bounce. I tried a couple of shorts here, and I think if I'd stuck to it, they actually would have worked out okay. There was a chance to maybe hold that second time through 76. I ended up not doing so, and then sticking to some names that were working better. But let's put it this way: it's bounced back better than I thought it was going to. When I looked at the daily chart, I really did think there was going to be some pressure that this might actually, take out some levels and have to find resistance a little closer to the 70 mark when it had its last wipeout bottom. The fact that it's going to manage to bounce above that, not a bad sign for it. And sometimes, as bad as things might have been on the earnings, look, it didn't take very long for it to get from 150 to 100 on that break. So it had already fallen very rapidly to the downside. And then just like any stock that goes up big time into earnings might get a bigger pullback than you anticipate. That could have been the case, simple case here. I just got out of a route that 625. I'm taking each quarter break until it gets to 50. It got to 50 and then pull back, so I'm going to get out of it. I'm just going to try to scalp that trade only. If it takes out 50, I think there's another long play to be had there. So Beyond Meat, if it's made a bottom here, there's a lot of room to go. I don't think the price action was as horrible as it could have been. A couple of times it found a bottom. I tried a couple of short trades. It is what it is. It's now got a double top at 83, which is pretty interesting if it can break out that tomorrow.
You got to give these things a couple days, right? Just like we talked about PayPal, I've gone in and bought some more PayPal today, and then we're going to give Palantir a day. Probably good opportunity to buy it today. So we're going to give that to Beyond Meat. Look, we did the trade of the day with SoFi. Okay, and we got out there on the 24 break. You can see that there's the tick. And Brad talked about this live on our show, or live on the Memes and Movers show, and that is that every time you see a tick here, that's us getting in or out of a trade, right? So any green move tick up, you can see it's an up arrow. Those are buys. So if they're preceded by a red, then they were going long. And if there's any purples on here, those are shorts, and then these buys would be covering the shorts. So right here, this is what we did on SoFi. And look, there's the out. And again, look at it fading back in just a little bit there. So even though we are on earnings, you still got to be able to watch out for some stocks that, are currently reaching some of those highs. And that brings me over to what we just talked about right now, and that was Beyond Meat, right? So Beyond Meat on a one-day chart is just absolutely nasty. Hasn't been good, man. Bad news. They get a little bit of a bump up. This wasn't it here. I don't know. Was it this? There's a couple days in here where McDonald's was announcing some stuff with Beyond Meat, and I remember it was getting some sort of a bump there, but obviously that's not going to matter. But I need this to extend out. I'm just trying to show you that it's been down here before. So this is kind of the levels that, okay, come on, let's go chart. Maybe if I just maximize it, there we go. It'll take time to load up. So, all right, let's go. Big movements for Beyond Meat, man. Like we got into Beyond Meat right about here, like $80, $90 on one of these first bump ups here. It was a brand new product. This is back in 2019. It came out at 45 and then ripped all the way to 250. So, I mean, that's just part of market being broken. We've seen that with a lot of stocks. There it goes straight to the upside, right? Comes back in. Well, I just want to bring everyone's attention to these areas. Beyond Meat's already had numerous roller coasters. This is today. So it's already been up and down. Where's my roller coaster thing here? There it is. So it's already done these little ups and downs and around. So you really just got to think, because you're right here. This is a great buying opportunity for Beyond Meat. Do you believe in the product? Do you want to apparently inject yourself with estrogen? If that's true, okay, then you can come down here, $75 on Beyond Meat, get that. Stop calling me, I'm doing a show. You got to take the phone call live live on air. Right here, $75. I believe that's a good spot. You can dip in. I mean, this can go lower, but is it necessary? I don't know. I still feel like there's more to come on this McDonald's story. We'll have to dig more deeper into the earnings release and find out what's good. But I think you're down right here. Like, these are big time lows, man. This is December of 19, right? And of course, you're going to get March down here. So, I mean, whenever I look at a chart and I go back, I don't really take pandemic lows into consideration. But this is all before the pandemic. So I think we're right here, man, $75. I believe you could take a shot on Beyond Meat and try to go for a long right now.
Let's dig into what is still kind of moving around here, guys, as we head towards the final 90 minutes of the trading session now. Sean, you were trading AMD a little bit today. Nvidia also having quite the session here. On multiple analyst moves today, mostly to the upside, price target increases and upgrades as well for Nvidia. I just noticed here, guys, popping up on volume. That is day highs, 305.75. Nvidia right back up after 2 days to the downside.
I'm going to do this one. But we need a graphic for actual, like, for this space. That would make a lot of sense for the chip makers. But 305 is going to stand out like a sore thumb here because right at the open, this is right at 9:30, this 305 level, tank, double bottom in Nvidia, and then we get a breakout of that same 305. I'm still sitting in it right now, 305.15, some slippage there. I did scalp some out in front of 6. You just look at what happened in the last, I mean, it was a pretty deep pullback, but since that pullback at 325, you put in a double bottom at 290, and then the top end of this range was right around that 305. There's a few wicks up here, and that's why I want to cover in front, cover some in front of 308.50, 310, because you might find some resistance. It's failed breaking that 305, but that sets up pretty nicely. It's a very bullish thing when you have that much selling and then you're still taking out the high. I think this is what, in the morning show, when Roblox had fallen down, it was like, that move back up was super, super bullish, despite the fact that you had a stock that was coming down and it was a resistance level at the pre-market highs. I said, forget it, don't short that 98. Maybe you can think about the 100, but not that 98 because it was too bullish. Similar thing happened here with Nvidia. The top break just happened a little bit later. So, if it gets through this 305 to 310 area, I think it can be smooth sailing back into the upside. It's a very good sign that you get all that heated, all those heated inflation prints, and the Nasdaq is, I don't want to jinx anything, but right now it's looking pretty strong. The Nasdaq's going to manage to hold up 0.5% today. It doesn't need to be up 1 or 2%. A success would certainly be just, being positive for a couple of days here as a reaction. I'd be very happy with that.
All right. Look, the amount of money that we've made on AMD and Nvidia, and you guys remember, if you remember what the call of the year was, you can put it in the chat right now and you'll get a shout out. The first person to put the call of the year that I gave on January 1st or 3rd or whatever it was. And maybe we'll do something like that again today. I don't remember. I think Neil and Brendan, I believe, both made a call as well, but I can't remember what it was. So can't.
I don't do call of the years. The call I think we made one time was I liked something for like a post-election play, and that was Boeing, just whatever. But the year thing, it's just like, unless it's a fiscal year, it's kind of random.
It's not random at all.
January 1st is a random time.
I'm going to say, what do you like for the year, right? So that's why it's not random at all, but okay. AMD, so we picked bottoms out here, man, and I do this every day. I always talk about this, guys. Like, we get out too early. Like, we picked this bottom, 141. We talked about AMD. We love AMD. But, it goes up to 143. We have $2, $2.50 in the money. It was a pretty crazy day. So we got it out, man. We took that first break of 143. It came right back to 143 right there. And we're like, oh, yeah, right? We did this yesterday, too. It saved our day. One day we were pretty negative on it. But, AMD, it was Monday or Tuesday when we had that big dump down, right? And so there it is right there, 141, out right there, 143. And look where it goes to 145. So, we've raised capital. Our last time we got out, yeah, that's right. We can't show the chart right here. The last time we got out was 150. We didn't really, it went to 155 on us. And I think we're just coming right back to the upside, man. The SMH was the call of the year. I don't know if anyone said that. AMD, yeah, there it is. So Dev, I don't know if you're the first one there, but I'll call you out there. Dev, yeah, Palantir. We're still long Palantir. We'll talk about Palantir as well. But there's SMH. Yeah, BFT as well. Yeah, PaySafe, yuck. That was a horrible call, PaySafe. But anyways, we'll talk about that. We're long PaySafe like $10, man. It's at 4 right now. Well, you can see I'm long the name right here. So anyways, as we go, AMD, Brendan, you're 100% right, man. It's just, what a monster. If the NASDAQ ever keeps, one day the NASDAQ's going to come down like crazy, right? I believe anyways. And this is going to be a name that you're going to get burnt picking the bottoms like this all the time. But at the same time, until that day happens, we're going to keep having our outs, and then we're going to keep trying to make a couple bucks on these trades, just like Nvidia, man. The potential is here for all of these names. So just keep trading them, to the long side. I don't think I'll be short AMD or Nvidia until we get to some key levels, and so that's going to be probably 150 on AMD.
It's unbelievable what that stock has done since it got above 100 even. Just a month or two ago. Apploven, software name, just popping up once again, guys. Another earnings name from Aftermarket yesterday. I'll show you it in a second here, but their earnings blew it out right across the board. Better than expected, having a monster day here as well, 21%. Just taking out day highs as we speak on a decent volume spike as well for Apploven, APP on the NASDAQ moving right now.
there's like a McLovin joke that probably needs to get made about it, but I'm not gonna do it. Just Nvidia here because we're on topic. The top end of the range here, I actually just reloaded it here, 304.50. Gonna try to take some out on the north side of 305, and then in front of the current high, and then hold for the previous targets that we talked about. But APP there, load. This is what happens. I should have just left it on this stock because now I have to wait for app11 to load, and hopefully my daily chart's gonna cooperate here. This is a monster. So when it comes to like chasing levels, when it comes to breakouts, when you've missed something like this, and I say this every single time, like chasing it, it's a little bit difficult to do, right? So at the end of the day, you're gonna have an awesome breakout that realistically, if you don't catch it in the morning, you're looking at the first consolidation, which ended up being 110, which is good for you. And then from here, as someone who likes to go counter trend from time to time, yeah, I mean, like 120 would be a little bit more appealing to me for a day trade. The volume is actually quite good, although the vast majority of it was on that first break and it's been tapering off. So there are some signs that it could be pulling back in. But again, there were so many blowouts and so many opportunities to go to the long side today. With one of them, I mean, one of the biggest, I don't want to say misses, but I guess the stocks that we didn't really look at until a bit later was QuantumScape was gigantic, and that was another one that was a big run. And it's the same thing with App here. And it did just make this break at 115, which is great if you got it. At this point, I'd be looking for that 120 level. Not much to see here, although Rivian just broke to the downside, guys. I mean, there's obviously some things happening live. Rivian just broke VWAP, so it's about to test that 115 we were talking about. Spicy.
Yeah, make sure you don't have, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm just going to refresh my blotter here to make sure I don't have any orders waiting here for Rivian, or they don't. I don't know. It's obviously not listening to me, but I did call this probably coming back down, but not today, not tomorrow. So you're right at these levels there. It's a good call for Rivian. See if it bounces off this 115. You do have that area right there where we bounced before on this monster move up and then came all the way back down to 108 and then boom. So, okay, so Rivian now at a spot where you could possibly look to get long if you like that space. Let's just check out Fisker quickly. I know we're going to go back to Brendan and start discussing some more stories here. Okay, so Fisker still nicely done upside. Is that really up still 12%? Wow, okay. So this is another, we've only believed in three names, right? Tesla, Fisker, and Ford on the side of EV space. So I did want to get into some Rivian, but not at this val, so we'll have to wait to see where it goes. But for Fisker right now, I still like the way this one's moving, and I think we got to buy more on any dip for Fisker.
Lucid as well, guys. Like still, just that entire group has been pretty impressive all day long. Disney was another one that we were discussing pre-market this morning. If you joined us, yeah, it wasn't good for Disney on the Disney Plus subscriber number in their earnings report. So it was down pre-market. Did give you a bit of an opportunity to the short side here this morning, getting through some pre-market levels right out of the gate. But since then, not much to see here. 160 ends up being a decent level for Disney.
Yeah, it's the paper hands man again here, because we wrote down on our sticky note, man, that we wanted the 160, the 161, 160 level to hold. Well, 160 when I was asked about which level would hold, but as soon as 160 breaks, we get out. So we buy 161, we buy 160.50. It breaks through 160. It's a negative name for us today as it touches down to 158. But it looks like that 160 held. So if you're a shareholder, congratulations, you were rewarded with a 160 buy. Might be a little early. I think there could be, if the market's negative tomorrow, I'm pretty sure they'll come back to Disney and hit this down. But for now, it's a good look on Disney. And, we sold yesterday at 175.50 before earnings. We tweeted that out. And I just thought, we all knew it, right? I mean, CEO Bob Chapek came and told us that subscribers would be low. But I guess people didn't believe him. I did. Down, boom, all the way down. So an easy sell there. We put 7% in our pocket. We got to rebuy it though. I just think that it's going to be coming back down a little bit. I still like a 160. So we may just plant an order at 160. See if we get filled down there. We couldn't trade it early on in the day, nor did I want to. So this is going to be a 2 or 3 day thing. So I'm going to look back at Disney in the next couple days, see where we're at, and then try to buy some at that point. But still a major holding. I said it's like number 7 or 8 now in the long-term portfolio. I think there's a lot of room for this thing to obviously go back to the upside. I don't feel like there's anything dramatic in that report that should shake the thesis that they are going to be going back into more digitization. I think that the content's going to be there. There's a whole bunch coming. It's been a slow period for them. And honestly, if you're not signing up new subscribers during COVID times, then when we come out, then I'm a little bit nervous for that. But I think the guide is out of the way now. So I think it's all clear moving forward. Let's just wait for better prices.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let's just wait on it. And for the day trade, at least, there might be something here in the afternoon. Although, the volume's telling me maybe not. There's this random volume spike that I think I would attribute to maybe a dark pool or like a late print. I don't think it really did a spike because nothing happened in the stock. But you have this 164 level, which it both represents like a kind of triple top in the afternoon. But if you go right into 9:30, there was a spike into 164 before it dropped $6. So it's the opening range top that is now held multiple times here on Disney. So you got a nice little resistance that I think we can play into at 164. If it gets there, it's $1 away. So a decent chance it could get there. I'm just gonna go back to some live trades because Nvidia here, I did get a leg out for the scalp trade. It only goes to 305. I'm still gonna try and take another one out in front of the high before holding it to that 308 level. But if it breaks to the bottom of this range, which is about 304 and the 25-30, then I'm just gonna get out of this one. I don't want it retracing the VWAP on me. A lot of times when it's a breakout trade, I don't mind. If I really like it and I like the level, which I do 305, then I don't mind buying the dip in the top end of the range. But if it fails to even put in a test of the high, then I'm gonna stop it out before we retrace into VWAP, where there could be another buying opportunity at 301. So that's Nvidia. The only thing I have on for now, although corner of my eye, that EVGO still testing and failing that 1950. I mean, if it puts in one more failed break through the top, I might have to short that thing.
A few other things, or a couple other things, I'll throw out there to be discussed this afternoon that people are still looking at this Newsy Incorporated. Up huge on a Walmart deal. So I think it's a coffee filter specifically that they manufacture for another company being sold at Walmart. So NUZE being talked about a lot here, guys. Also, a few people asking about PayPal still. What do we do with PayPal? Kind of grinding along the lows. If everyone remembers, it was the forecast that got cut for the rest of the year. That seems to be a bit of a sticking point on PayPal's report.
So, I mean, I can talk about Newsy just first. I don't know what it is for everybody else, but certainly at Day Trader World, we didn't have any locates on it all day long. I was sitting here, I didn't really notice it until like the second or third, I think it was like the third halt to the upside. And then once it broke through 5, it actually stabilized. And usually when something breaks up and continues higher, that's not when it stabilizes. It continues to go to halt. It made a very clean top. It made a clear consolidation lower, but didn't have the low case to be able to short it. It does feel like once it puts in this capitulation, it hasn't really been able to find a bid. This one feels like it's done for the day. So that's the best I can say about it. Could I have been, if we had the locates, I probably would have at least tried the short 2 or 3 times. It's hard to say whether I would have been profitable. As long as I would have had stops here at those top, been disciplined about it, I think it would have been okay. But, this one turned out to be a bit of a nothing burger when we didn't have the locates. Because after 4 or 5 halts to the upside, I wouldn't have been chasing the long past $5 anyways. And I would usually not suggest anybody do it either when you get one of these.
We can talk about PaySafe, which is starting to run finally now. We are long PaySafe here at 18. We have basically the bottom of the day. We're going to hold this one and just pray that it goes back to $13 today. But PayPal right here, look, good trading for sure for us today on PayPal. We actually did this. Shout out to Prad. I see he's in our chat right now. So thank you for Prad for doing that as well in our chat. But look, we've been long. So we started the long right here at 205. Thought that it was going to break out throughout the morning. Didn't happen. Came back in. We haven't sold any of these for losses yet. So boom, boom, boom. And then we buy another 250. So we kind of put our money where our mouth is right there. Buy it twice. But now it's right back here one more time. So at this time, man, I don't know, 3, 4, 5's a charm. I'm not sure about it this time. So we're going to wait. We're getting near the end of the day now, only an hour and a bit left. I feel like it should have gone. We were really celebrating here. Apparently this was just a CNBC bump. They were on CNBC, so that is what that is there. And we took a big time advantage of it, which is why I'm pretty happy with PayPal today. We took advantage of this. It ran right up to VWAP. I thought it was going to break. I still have an offer. Actually, I have an offer up here at 208, even up here, 208. Like that's how much I thought this was going to go today. But PayPal's still in, like I said here. It's going to be in timeout for a little bit. And it hasn't had a good day. This is the one. So here's earnings, coming through, bang, hits it right down. But it's just kind of hovering now at 200, which is a little bit, I'm fine with it, but Not happy with it. I just checked my average price on PayPal, 216, something like that, because we were buying earlier. This was the call of not 2021, but 2020, back at $100. And right now, I mean, it's given back everything here in 2022 or 2021. As you can see, it's just high of 300, 315, that double top. But I don't think that there was any reason for this. We've talked about if Venmo now going to be in Amazon. I mean, of course, there's reasons for this going down. They missed. Brendan, you highlighted it as well on the quarter there. So it wasn't a great quarter. They didn't execute properly, and the guidance was almost nothing. So we'll have to see. Hopefully they can, you know, just revamp some of what they're doing. I don't know. They talked about, you know, possibly getting into equities and things like that. So I think that's good. They've revamped what I was saying is they've revamped their app. So that's, you know, hopefully some positive headwind there as well. But I don't know, this 200 level, we're just going to wait to see. It's 3 days. So I did go in there and buy it today. I'm wondering if we can retest 180, if that does happen. But PayPal's at this point has to just stick there. We're going to hold out for it and hope that this goes back to the upside. Whenever using terms like hope, it's not a good thing. But at the same time, you know, I want to buy this name. This is going to be a longer term play for me. I'm in Square. Obviously, I'm in PaySafe, and that's been a nightmare. So we'll wait to see what PayPal's doing. I mean, all these names, man, we're so far in the money, but you got to make calls moving forward, right? It doesn't matter what's already happened. I'm looking at PayPal here. It's 3 days. I'm going to stick with the 3-day rule. We bought some today, and let's see if we can get back upside. I still do think that we get to 250, 260 here, guys.
Every single day that 200 holds as a day trader, you've got to be coming in here thinking about the break, right? So, you know, almost every single day, if it holds 200, I'm be looking for breakouts at previous days, previous days resistance points. Right now, I'm looking at like 204. If this does hold and does not break that level tomorrow, I am watching a firm. Someone saying, you know, I saw someone saying Trader Pratt talking about size on a firm at 160. So a firm has made a bit of a bounce. There is a big offer at 160. I just noticed it. Thank you, Pratt, for putting that one in there. I know a lot of people watching that stock. Bit of a $12 move off the bottom. Pretty solid for a firm.
Just looking at this Amatis, AMTX, a few people discussing. This one popped up, guys, on volume here from 19 up to 22. Coming back to 20 and a half, which is actually a decent spot for this. They reported, first of all, so I can kind of zoom out here and show you. I mean, it was down, but not a huge amount. So back to positive here for Amatis. They reported, and then there was some update that they released on their website as far as corporate doings. So AMTX randomly here on volume in the afternoon.
Ooh. So snap news or like events like this, when you make a breakout and then you just you reverse. So again, just look at the last couple of days where there's resistance. It's coming down off a good-looking top. I never would have traded this because the volume is just non-existent. But if you were trading this, you'd be looking at how great a short that looked like on a small, slight head and shoulders, 22.75 and 23.25 here. And then when it makes this news breakout, it just resists hard this 22, and it does not manage to find a consolidation, above any of the more significant levels here. So I mean, it's a little bit, I guess in that sense, a bit of a bearish play. But that being said, when you look at the daily chart here, yeah, that doesn't look too bad at all. Especially, it's a ways away from the 50 period, but you do see nice momentum to the upside. It's trying to continue to put in some higher lows. So a lot of times, it would be easy for me to look at the 15-minute and say, yeah, whatever, that's junk, it's coming back in. But the daily at least paints a bit of a better picture. Way too thin for me to want to trade it. And I don't know if Trader Pratt actually shorted. I wish I had shorted that 160 on a firm. But the size on a firm, obviously it did not go through. The pullback is on. I'm looking back in here to like 154, 155 VWAP if there isn't a bit of a bounce play there. Good look there, Pratt. I didn't see the size on the offer, but obviously it worked out. So great short on a firm 160s. I want to see if it can make a bit of a bounce in front of VWAP where it had some consolidation before I jump into this. Playing it in the middle, not going to do it.
So we're just going over a bunch of things here, but someone, who is it? It's not Goldman. It's somebody else asking me about snowflake position. So there it is. Yeah, what's up, Devin? Thank you for asking there. So we're long. I think it's like 240, 260 on snow. We'll call it up right here real quick on it. It's not a huge position for me because I was piling more into Palantir, which turns out to be wrong. But, we were talking about this as being baby Palantir. It's a newer company than Palantir's 19 years old, came to market this year. We already know that story. I can keep on going with that. But we miss come on, Snowflake. We actually missed. We weren't here. I was here, but I wanted this break right here. Oh, come on. We dropped down into 185. We don't have any there. This is the bottom that we wanted, this 217, but unfortunately we took this break. We didn't even get this break, 242. We took this break right here, 253, which is why my price is 260. So it's not a great price. But now that I look at this, I do have some shares in it. It's not a monster position. I'm just going to give it back to the 50-period moving average, which right here is 325. So that's what I'm doing with the Snowflake position. It's now way in the money. I mean, it's $100 in the money right now on that trade. I just wish that this was the Palantir chart, not the Snowflake chart. But again, big company, data collection. I like Snowflake. We are near the highs here, so I'm holding it to see if we can break out. Hopefully this can come back to the upside. Snowflake earnings still haven't happened yet, so we'll see if it can take out the top. You've seen big moves with Upstart and then come back down. You've seen Affirm still kind of holding out high as well. So let's see if Snowflake can kind of be one of those names that holds out here. But we do have a stop order in, and I'm going to find out. So thanks for bringing it to my attention, because actually this is a name that can get violent. So I do have to pay attention to when earnings is coming for Snowflake, and we don't want to miss that 325. So it's actually 330 right there. And I love, and again, thanks for asking, but I love when it coincides with another level. I mean, this is always going to be the level to get out, just like that should have been the level to get in. We make a bottom, it takes it out, boom. So right there, we're happy getting in, but we're in right there. So Snowflake, we're going to get this out if it breaks through 330, but earnings is going to be key for this.
So we had a question if someone was asking about fun. I haven't looked at fun. I think it was fun at least, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I will have a quick look at it. I haven't looked at it in a couple of days, and it's, you know, the DWAC and the
earnings,
fun.
I think, right? That's why.
I think so. But they just haven't been doing anything. And I think a lot of times, if a stock isn't moving as a day trader, you're going to sort of stay away from it. Here's the thing: if you're, and I'm assuming a lot of people want to make some interesting bets on the stock, given the connection it's had to DWAC and that story. And, you know, risk to reward wise, it's hard for me. By the way, just got trailed out of Nvidia, so it's going to win on some and then lose on the rest.
Look at the market. That was
the market just pulled back on me there.
Shoot, you lost on that. Like,
yeah, I think that's part of the Affirm pullback as well.
I don't know. That's a big move.
That is a bit of a big move. I might have jinxed it when I'm like, yeah, the Nasdaq's going to end up positive today because it seemed like we're going to be strong. But when it comes to fun, it's like, this isn't the worst risk to reward notion if you consider that the low here, and it's at $4 right now. You consider that the low since that spike up has been this 320 level, right? So if you really think about it, decent chance, and just reversed in Nvidia there, just a decent chance that you're looking 25%. You know, to that level. I mean, there's always going to be that meme momentum sort of aspect to it, that yes, any positives are going to give you that big push. Not something I like getting involved in, because that type of a gamble, straight on a risk to reward, because you can always gap through these levels, then you don't really have a trade there. So, you know, sometimes it's easier to play via options in the equity. But not a bad landing spot where it's managed to consolidate and then hold a higher low. That's about all the good I can say about it. And if you go all the way back, like where it's holding currently is on the daily chart, not even a bad level. If you go earlier on in the year, back in February, that's right here that it's managing to hold. So not a terrible look from a technical standpoint. I just think it's a bit of a gamble unless you know a little bit more about them and the potentiality outside of the attachment to DWAC, which. That it had earlier, and I feel like that's a little bit fizzled. It could rejuvenate itself. Not something I would personally bet on, and of course in this barcoding, unless you're an algo, you're not making any money during this.
No, that's
although if you are an algo, you are making money.
Yeah, I mean, you could just buy and sell. If you get rebates, that would be a good opportunity there. For those of you looking at rebate trading, it's just playing the spread back and forth, and then getting a gateway to pay you, like a Nasdaq or something like that, an ARCA or a BATS. You guys would know about that. So just an update here quickly. Snowflake, yeah, I wish that it was. I mean, what an opposite chart there. Like, okay, here's PaySafe, do. Here's Snowflake chart, do. Look at that, boop, boop. Boop. Okay, but that's enough of that, just kind of making fun of my own position there. But we are now just, I'm done. So I'm getting out the last little bit right now. I mean, I'm done getting out now. So hopefully we can retrace back to the upside now. We've been buying these bottoms all day. It was really beat down early, and that tends to happen. I'm hoping for a management change. We've talked about that. I don't know what else can rally this stock. They've signed a few new deals. They're with Fubo TV, things like that. But whatever, man. I mean, this is the long that we have right now. We have pieced it out on the way up. So pretty happy with the way it's been performing. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. But there we go, man. Right now, back to the upside goes PaySafe. And we just ticked our last piece out. So I still have a third of what we had down here. So hopefully, and we'll zoom this back out, we can get up to at least 450, which would be where, I mean, volume weighted average price, which is the blue line here, is 442 on this chart. I don't know if that's going to be completely accurate, but we'll take it. We'll take a little bump up. If it comes back in, it comes back in. Just a quick update there, because I did make a mistake. I did say on PayPal that we're going to hold for 200, but we didn't. I put this, as soon as I took that fill, I actually put 202 as my out, because that's what I wanted. So I just got out now, so I do apologize. So 201.96 is my out. So you can take it right now if you want it, 91, 90s, 89, something like that. But we are out of PayPal, looking to maybe, well, not maybe, looking to reload a little bit closer to 200, guys.
Brennan?
Throwing things. Peloton, guys, back from the dead today. There's this FCC application floating around online. So they applied for a wireless device from the FCC. So an approval for an FCC ID tag on a wireless device. So everyone circulating that. So Peloton here, up 2.5%. This has been destroyed, to say the least. But it just took back $50 in the past few minutes there, guys, for Peloton.
Is that, I mean, it's funny. I don't know if anyone else gets this thought too, but like, I called up Peloton. I saw 50 on the level 2, and I thought that's not the right stock. Yeah, I mean, we know about this. We've been trading this. I'm not a shareholder in Peloton. I have been before, got out, and actually made money on Peloton. But you know, and I know Pratt says, you know, just slap a iPad on a bike and call the Peloton. Obviously, it's a lot more than that. It's also a clothes hanger, because you can hang your shirts on there when you're done. But I mean, it's a high quality bike. It's just they had a not a great report there. They forecasted, what was it, 5 billion? They knocked that down to 4 billion, so they miss. And then this is just by my memory. I think they missed by about $1 billion there. So it goes from 89, and that day was horrendous, man. You got another 30% down day. Reminds me of our boy PaySafe, but all the way to the downside right now. I thought there was going to be a chance for this to hold $58. Obviously today they're getting that little bit of a bump up, but you can see the volumes right here. It's been like 5 or 6 straight red candle days with higher volume than normal. And we just need to get some green days back in this name, and it can go. They stepped into, I believe, clothing. They stepped into, I think, free weights. They also had the treadmill that kids were getting stuck under. And I mean, it's been a little bit of a disaster year for them, right? And I know they spent a lot of money on PR, so they're not a profitable company. Peloton coming back in, and I don't know where we like this name, but it's basically been a home run. I mean, if you're long, I mean, look where Peloton is down here, teens. You know, 19, like where did it IPO? $26, it dipped down to $19, high of 170. So you get 10x, let's call it 8x on your investment there, top to bottom to top. Doesn't matter. But now you're getting another opportunity to possibly start to nibble in. I mean, Peloton has the name. They're going to have the brand awareness. I feel like if they can get it together, probably change the pricing. I know the bike's a little expensive, and they have multiple bikes out, but hey, look, Peloton still on the sidelines and can go lower. For me, I'm looking to pick some up if it goes to 40. I mean, there's a target area right here, $40. But again, you're going back to June of 2020, right? I mean, some of these dips, it didn't even dip that much during COVID, obviously, because of the fact that it was a stay-at-home play. So I don't know. We've seen Planet Fitness, Neil, go back. Oh, you have Peloton up. Okay, I thought you had Planet Fitness there. Planet Fitness to all-time highs, PLNT, right? So I think that people are changing their habits right now. And if Peloton's not able to make money in the last year, then I'm not sure they will even moving forward.
I think that's the tricky spot for them. I like that same level, just from a technical standpoint, that $40 level. Like if it gets there,
yeah.
That just sort of becomes even like a swing type of, it's just probably worth taking a shot if it makes a base at that price. But if they couldn't, it's like if you were a pandemic play and you didn't make money then, and then you're not managing to at least hold up some of those revenues and not have trouble now, then I don't know what to say positively about them at that particular point. Like, wait for the momentum to play with you. So Rivian, wow, Rivian just keeps saying hold my beer. It's just crazy. Like it does that double bottom at 115.
Don't even tell me 115 how.
Yes, it did. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, okay, like it was such a good long. I resisted the short. I didn't hold on to the top of 125. You know what? When it breaks 115, it's just a momentum play. We'll try to scalp it for a couple of dollars. That's what I'll do. And didn't even think about the dip buy. So anyways, Yeah, now it's back through 120. It looks like that march to 125 could be on. We got plenty of time. It's now power hour. Well, it's 55 seconds away from power hour, and we have a decent chance to retest a 125 high on Rivian. Crazy price. Ignore these wicks. Crazy price action. 115, a gorgeous hold there on those dips, because a lot of times you think it retests a level like that after a triple top at 125, and you're thinking there's going to be sellers that just want to get out of the way and take some money off the table. Nope. The buyers win once again on this stock. I don't even understand. It's so strong, and the valuation doesn't make sense to me, but the momentum in this is just so strong right now that you don't want to fight it too hard.
Yeah, Rivian, I mean, I don't know. We could keep talking about the same names here, like Rivian. That's a great bounce off 115. We talked about that. For me, we'll just go back to Fisker right now as we are in the power hour. So maybe time to make some trades. I'm still happy with that SoFi where we got out of that one. And just to review some of the names I'm looking at, we got out of SoFi right here at 24 break, back down to 24 and change. This is a possible long right now. I would like it to get back into 23, but we've bounced off a couple times off 23.20. So maybe a move back down here for SoFi. Gets us in this name. So 23.25 or so for SoFi. You can use bottoms of 23, but the thing is, so I'm still trying to wrap my head a little bit around what this means, because power hour trading is different. I find that we need to trade stock, more names that have the bigger moves, like not a SoFi. Like SoFi has a big move today, but like a meme name, right? Like a name that's breaking highs, breaking lows, something like that. Because right now, how much do I expect SoFi to actually, I don't think it's going to tank here down to this level. Right? So if I'm buying here, where is my out? You got to be patient. It could drip back down to these levels. So I think, when you're making trades here near the end of the day, and we can't hold overnight, so I think it's very important that you get stock that are at good levels. Because when it's in the morning time, I take this trade, sure, I get it out, it's fine, but I can average in because I know that there's some key levels and then we have all day to make this move. If I average in here at 23.50 or something on SoFi, well then, I may punch out here because there's not that much time left in the day. And I know that's maybe crazy talk, but you may not have too much movement here, which is why I adjusted, and it's going to be wrong. I got out of PayPal at 202. Now it's going to save myself 20 cents. But that's why we got out of PayPal there, because it could just stay down and drift low, low, low and hang around 200. There's only an hour left. So just keep that in mind when you're making your trades. You got to get very, very key levels. I've already put in the chat, guys. So Rob is already on it. Hold my beer graphic will be done by tomorrow.
Yeah, it is said a lot, I feel like. And in Brennan's case, it would be a Guinness.
I just said that by tomorrow there because I was looking straight at him and I thought that I know
Did
he's
he freak
busy,
out?
so I'm putting a goal on him.
I'm thirsty too.
Oh yeah, now everybody's thirsty.
I could go for a
that
cold
one.
I'm
so,
not gonna lie.
We do. Well, if you could go for it, they're in the fridge. We have leftovers from our last one there, but there it is. Feels like we're at a carnival today. Grab a cold one, but maybe not till after 4 p.m. So you can focus.
The Pabst Blue Ribbon was.
The PBR is in
What else?
the fridge. I mean, I would just go. I could just go get it.
No,
right
I'm not gonna. Yeah.
But I just caught.
It's good to know. It's good to know.
Yeah, we try. We're not drinking. We don't want to drink on air, right? Because we love our YouTube friends, and I don't know the legalities of that.
I don't know the rules. We had discussion
Plus,
before.
I'm live trading. I don't.
Joe Rogan. I mean, he does everything.
Right.
So I mean, obviously he does. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's possibly okay.
He also got signed for $150 million to Spotify.
He's rich. I can't say. I can't. Yeah. V is asked. Do I think
Rich
Vax? Do I think Vax has a shot back to high a day?
That's the new IPO today.
No, not really. Just no. There's no volume here. The high days at 23. I mean, look at how look. This is a nice little rounding off of the bottom here. But if you got this low at 15, you got to be ecstatic taking a couple of dollars out of it. It would need a huge volume spike to get there, right? Look how much. It's hard for you to see when it's zoomed in. That's when I got to do this for you. I'll do that. I'll do this so you can kind of see the volume. But there's just nothing happening. You see the big spikes, and then you're not even breaking the bottom of our little position board there in the afternoon. And you're not going to get something like this breaking back toward those highs unless the volume comes in the last hour. And a lot of times you'd see the signs of it happening. There's a good potential break here at 17, but there's an offer I mean, in front, the same offer that's at 17 where this barcoding is, there's someone else just sitting for the same size at 1710 or 1709. So it might have some trouble chewing through these levels, even getting to VWAP, let alone 23. So like it's one of those. I don't think it's going to happen. There's no real indication. Otherwise, if I had any confidence that it would, then this consolidation, I'd be taking a 17 break if it were to break, and I don't think I would do that. So not for me. Good luck if you're in the long and you're hoping it happens, but hope is not usually the best reason to do something. I wanted to come to Roblox just for a quick sec here, because speaking of things that are moving in levels that are worth watching, if we're going to be watching 125 on Rivian, which you have to, right? Rivian takes 125. You got to be all over that. It's a hot stock the last couple of days. Roblox at this 100 level, which I was going back and forth with. I had a short in front, stopped out. I took the long, tight stop, and I didn't go back to the short, which I had. This is now third time it's tested. It's pulled back into VWAP. If it gets there and can manage to break 100 again in the afternoon, you might actually see it start to run. But this has obviously been a pretty good short level that I only tried one time and then got away from. But this has to be on the radar for something that has the potential to move, because, as I said, the bottom that this put in was a really bullish bottom. And someone asked, would I short that pre-market level here? And I'm like, I don't like it, because this is about as strong as it looks like for a breakout. That's a great setup. Capitulation bottom, just easy lower highs with that same top at 95.5, and then you had the breakout. It gets sustained on volume, and once it was sustained on volume, I didn't think there was any chance it was going to hold that 98. It goes right to the 100 level. I wish I'd had the break. I wasn't looking at Roblox. Unfortunately, hindsight's 2020. But keep these kinds of things on your radar, because Roblox was on our radar all week. And then for whatever reason, it kind of didn't make the list today. Reason being, there was a ton to look at in the morning. But that's not always a good enough excuse.
Hydration Nation there.
I didn't
Okay.
fill my water.
So, yeah. Ruben was here yesterday, so we're doing some Hydration Nation there as well. Yo, what's up, Nick W? Trader Prad, whatever happened with that auto acknowledgement of some of these super chats and stuff? We'll have to talk about that after the show. Big shout out to Andrew Harris. Thank you for becoming a member. Means a lot to us for sure. And Nick W, let's go this. Neil, thanks for your thoughts on Roots. Break of 560. You made $3 grand. Fantastic. Let's just call it 2.75K. Good job. Your thoughts on the stock setting up for a swing. Okay. We will talk about Root there. So thank you so much. I'm going to sneeze very, very soon. So hopefully that doesn't happen too much, but AMD back upside. Just trying to see what's moving around. I mean, PaySafe doing 230 million shares today. Wow. I believe PaySafe's a buy down here, but whatever. I can't.
The funny thing is, like, from a risk to reward for a swing, it's hard to argue against PaySafe from a pure value standpoint.
I mean, you still could get down to $3.
You could, but then
that's
it's like, if you just look at the chart, there's not a heck of a lot of room that it couldn't go. And if had there been a pullback in, this pullback in Root, which is happening right now, is not much of one. If this had pulled back into like 560, 570, and then maybe giving you a chance to close above, close that VWAP, I think that would have set up. It's just, Root is a weird one, man, because if you look into the company, I mean, you know what, oddly enough, Citron, one of their first, since they went from like a short seller report to, only basically telling you what to go long. Root was one of their, I think it was maybe last year? I don't know, maybe it was a few months ago. At some point, I know this was one of their positive reports that they talked about. I only really know about this company because I own shares of Lemonade, and these guys are like a mobile insurance, trying to go with, essentially the more data-driven, easier access. A lot of which makes sense to me, but they're just not having a ton of success. I mean, the good report here, and they definitely had some surprise with their earnings report positively. That's why you're getting the squeeze. But it has constantly been above 25% short interest and leaned on, yet never really has any strong breaks. Even when these other memes or short seller short stocks, heavily shorted stocks, are getting breakouts, Root never seems to have any of that love. And it's finally put in a base that is like, it's usually doesn't hang around this long. Every time it's made a low, it's like, okay, it'll bounce off it, and then doesn't take very much time for it to make a fresh one. This time, the base that it put in around $4.50 was a long one into a breakout here on earnings. So it's actually a pretty solid setup for Root. I tend not to, I would, in terms of like things that are shot plays, I would not consider myself adding Root as a shot play unless I was willing to trim Lemonade to do so and then own both of them. But I have enough Lemonade that I don't think I need to have both. Although it's starting to entice me that maybe after bad earnings I could trim Lemonade essentially for a small profit and maybe take a shot at root. I love what happened today, but one of these days you got to think it's going to make a bit stronger move as heavily shorted as it is. And before we go to Brendan, you are the GOAT. Thank you, because we call for Brendan. And then Nvidia finally triggered, it got me some at 303, so long was only okay. Reversed into the short when it took that support out, and now going to see if it can't come back into VWAP. Heck, I want the Nasdaq to finish up on the day, but that was kind of an interesting little start of a sell that we just had in the last 10-15 minutes, Brendan.
Another one, guys, that we were talking about this morning on earnings, moving back to the downside. Just had volume spike there on Open Door, still up big time. But it's been kind of, I mean, we had that spike up to 2440 and then just has been kind of fading off the rest of the day. So a little bit of volume coming back in through almost, oh, there it is right now, day lows for Open Door.
Yeah, still 14%. Looks like it's taking it out right now to the downside. Yeah, so I think this is one that you could get a break on. I think this is a good short right here. Let's just look. Okay, yeah, the daily chart's just been confusion. So let's look over here. Where's the 20-minute? Yeah, I don't know much about the report. I didn't focus on it too much this morning. But yeah, I guess the 20-minute doesn't really. I mean, we have a bottom here, maybe. That's just 22, so we're pretty close to that right now, and that could be a support spot there. So might be a better break rather than breaking the day's low. Might be better breaking 22 down here. But what a great report it looks like that was. I mean, talk about a name that was pretty beat down over the last couple of days. They make that bottom there, and then upside. I know there's some talk about them eating a little bit of Zillow's lunch because they're out of there now. So that could be a good talk for Open Door. OPAD, another name to look at. But Open Door right now, yeah, taking down that low. This is a possible good trade right now. I think we'll try this, man. A short Open Door, give it back to like 45.50. But I'm going to try this name right now.
Yeah, Open Door. I mean, Brendan crushed that one this morning. I don't know why I didn't look at that a little bit deeper. A couple of things that are still moving. I want to go to QuantumScape here because you want to talk about what's moving. Look, it's been strong all morning. Well, all morning. It's been strong all day, but then it had that monster spike just after lunchtime that took it to that 40 level. It put in a lower high, and now it's breaking back below this 38.50 area. And I think, I mean, it's more picking the round number. It's actually put a bottom at 38.60, which is close to this recent high. If it takes out the 50, I think it has a decent chance to get into VWAP here. It's been super strong. I mean, there's so many names that are sort of related to the clean, clean energy vehicle space, EV space as well. The battery makers, whether it's Plug, whether it's QS, whether it's the actual EV makers themselves like Rivian. They've all been so strong today, but there are some signs of pullbacks, and 38.50 looks like it can get you scalped to 38. Brendan again?
Seeing a few things just popping up here, guys. CGen, one that was up this morning, just breaking back down through VWAP on a volume spike there, so trying to come off a little bit. This one as well, EVLV, still up big time. This is the Bill Gates AI play, if you remember. Big day on earnings, so they beat right across the board, but just had a volume alert there for, I guess it was 760 for EVLV.
All right, so we'll temporarily wring a little bit of money down here as we're just scalping Open Door. So whatever, it just took 10 cents, that's all. So it was just 10 cents, 22.20 out there, 22.10. Only for 20%. Our next piece is going to be at 22 even, and then we identified that 21.80 level. So we just took that. It's 10 cents. And like I said, like if you take 100 shares, not 100 shares, you take 1,000 shares, right there, that's going to be your $100, right? And so you got to just trade your own book and scalp out if you want, or wait for a bigger move. My next play is going to be at 22 even, where we'll take out probably 40%. So that's 20%. We'll take another, and then we'll hold the last 40% and see if we do get that flush all the way to the downside right there. And looking at these levels, 21.80, 21.90, I guess, is a good level. And like I said, we're trying not to get too specific here with our levels. We're just going to try to play some momentum because we don't know where these stocks are going to go here in the end of the day. It just takes one person to decide to buy this thing, and we get right back to the days, not the day's high, but this level high right there. So yeah, that's 22.80 for Open Door. And I apologize, I don't even recall what stock Brendan was talking about.
It was this EVLV, and it's just, I'm looking at a barcode here. I'm actually, I was like 2 cents away from getting filled on Nvidia, and then it did that thing that it did, where it bounces away. But that's fine. Hopefully, I'll get that filled in front of VWAP. And I look at this, and it's very similar to what I was just watching in QuantumScape. Strong stock consolidating lower, and if there was volume, yeah, I think there'd be a trade, and it would be to the sell side on a break of about 755. But there's no volume, so I'm not going to trade it. So I'm just sitting here looking for only the movers at this point. Nvidia, look. I guess, maybe I'm biased to the fact that I thought we were going to finish positive on the session, so I'm covering Nvidia, the reversal here in front of VWAP, but I don't mind. I'll ring the register on it. I would rather take profits here than try to admit that I think, or try to guess that the Qs are going to head to negative territory. If they are, then obviously getting out of the Nvidia here was an idiotic thing to do, but it is what it is. I didn't think that was going to happen. This EVGO lower high at 19. I got out of my long break at 19 even, and someone was like, Neil, because when we came back on at 2 o'clock, I think I was only in some long positions. Like, Neil, it's nice to see you go long. I go long stuff. It happens. We only went long in Rivian until it got to 125. But this 1950, where I would have liked a retest of that high, it does put in a lower high here. It hasn't really capitulated yet, so it's managing to hold VWAP. So there's still a chance it retests the high of the day. But the longer it takes to do it, and I look, it's like we showed QuantumScape, which is kind of breaking down. This one could also go and make a breakdown of VWAP if 1850 gets taken. So you have to start thinking about the downside in some of these, as strong as they are. Although I'm not there with Rivian. Even though it put in a lower high, I'm kind of still thinking it has to be 125 is the level I want to play off of, guys. So lots of levels. Enrique, a lot of people have talked about remark there, and I haven't really seen anything. It's a barcoder, and I know it had like a small move in the afternoon here on I think there was like a rumor, like a news rumor. I didn't really check it out, but it's another one of those where, okay, when something happens, yeah, it's pretty interesting if it can take like a 175 or so. But this small March, maybe it's a prelude. It's the prelude, and then we're gonna get something extra tomorrow. But for now, I'm sitting this one out just because I don't really see anything happening here. Certainly, if it gets up to that 175 on low volume, it's a fade. If there is a boom, then I think it could be a potential break. I'm just not really seeing any activity or follow through on the stock. But it doesn't mean it shouldn't be one on the radar. Just don't really see anything here. But I know a lot of people have talked about it. I think it's interesting for a day trade. I'm not a fan of remark, but if it does make a 175 break on volume, yeah, I like punches like that when you have clear sailing to about like 190 to 2. That gives you probably a good risk to reward. Just doesn't seem remotely likely on this volume that it can happen today. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh my God, I thought that was Brendan, but it was Prad. Okay. Yeah, there he is. Oh, good stretch. All right, so open door.
Okay,
I'm wondering about Fisker here, maybe going short, but we should look at Rivian because it's still moving. Look at this Fisker, 2220, man. We talked, remember, I was like, oh my God, how, that was just exploding today, Fisker, and I don't know if it should have, so should have got out of some there, FSR, but I still like the name. What's up, Brendan?
What a move for all of those today. This Newsy starting to go again, guys, was bouncing along 5, just popped up on volume, so trying to go back to the upside here. Yeah, 175% when you mentioned Walmart, I guess.
Walmart? Yeah, okay. Just looking to see what's going on here with some of these names. NEO and Fisker. We traded NEO, not today, did we? No, yesterday. We're always on NEO. Yesterday we had that 40-50 call, which was a great one to the upside, and it could happen today again at 40-50. Wow, up to $42. But again, not really giving us any kind of direction play there. Let me just call back Fisker one more time. Is this near? Nah, it's got to get to 2050. We may battle back here, maybe a 21 break. That's a pretty big drop there for Fisker. I was wondering what's up with that. That's $2 on 20. That's a decent move. It's only $1, I guess, 22.20 down here to 21, but still 5% back, pullback here in the last hour. I guess it's since 1 o'clock. So about 2 hours or so, a move all the way to the downside. I actually don't mind this. Let's see if we can break through 21. Let's go long Fisker right now and use this 80 as a bottom. I think that's too low. Let's just check Rivian before we do this.
Oh, it's setting up for a break at 122 itself. Well, if you look,
okay, so Rivian's still up here. So, yeah, let's try that on Fisker now. Let's go long here and use this 28 as a bottom. I think we can trust this.
Yeah, and someone just, I think it was Day Trading Mom asking, is it a good level right now to buy in that newsy, which I just checked, we still have no locate somehow. I think it would have made a heck of a lot more sense breaking out of this range, either in this consolidation in front of the low, risk to reward, which is a little bit better to VWAP or $6, than, or actually maybe even getting the break at 540. Then if you buy it up here, you're less than 1-to-1 to $6 to that low of the day. So I just, I don't like it there. It probably would have made a little bit of sense if you liked it when it broke at that 5. I just wouldn't be chasing this move. The volume is okay, but it's not like blowout volume. And as we were just saying, Rivian, now back up to this 122, but it's managing to hold a nice consolidation. These dips, it failed. It broke 120 on the way back, right? So put in a top shy of 122. It then managed to, I can zoom in so this is a little bit easier to see. These wicks are annoying. But then it zoomed in and it held 120, then did a break of 120, which is a fail break. So after that, if it puts in a higher low, I like the break of 122, so long as it hasn't retaken that 120 level. It has to have put in a higher low before it breaks it. And of course, obviously, if 125 is that top that we think is interesting, any scalp of 122, it's like takes them out 23, takes them out in front of 24, wouldn't be holding it past 125. But certainly Rivian, as long as it can hold 120 here, it's set up for a nice little break. 40 minutes to go. It is the big mover today, up 20% on fantastic volume. I feel like it's going to be a hot stock for at least the next couple of days.
Just for a little bit there, yeah. So Fisker right away into the money. We just talked about buying some 90s there. It's up to 02. Unfortunately, when I said that, I was like, okay, let's buy it. It just shot up 5 cents there. So we don't have the best price. We have 96 half because I had to buy some 98s and then some 95s. So a couple executions there. We should have had a better price, but obviously there's some sort of front running happening. But whatever, that's always happens. So hopefully this can go up to the upside. We're looking for, if I can get this back to VWAP, even right here, 21.20 for a little bit there. If we can get some out for, like I said, 5, 10, 15 pennies right now will be fine for me. And we only have 30 minutes to go. I mean, the imbalances are coming out at 350, so that'll influence the price a little bit. But Fisker can go. It just went 10 cents, so why can't it go 10 more? 21.15 or so is the sort of the top right there. It's 21. Actually, it's 21.11. It's hard to see because if I don't zoom this in right here, 21.10 right into here. Anything around there, 15.11 I think is a good place. And if we're lucky enough to get 25s or something, I think that's good. But there's a couple bids against this 80. So we'll see where it goes. I think the risk reward is about 1-to-1 on this, if not a little bit higher if we do get that VWAP target that we're looking for. We're only giving this one, so we're long at 96. We're giving it to 80. So 16 cents. Our first target is about 20 cents. And then if we can get higher, we will take that. Open door just doing nothing as we've zoomed in more to this one. In there, boom. We'll take another shot right around here, 30s or so, I believe. Let me just make sure that's where I have my offer. Yeah, 30s, so that's good. And then we'll take another spot there if we have to. And if we're wrong, we'll get out at 22.50. So we thought Open Door could come to the bottom. We should have got out of them all. That appears to be the play. But right now, we'll hold out hope and for Open Door and for Fisker. And then PaySafe is just doing what PaySafe does, man, nothing. It's just chilling out at the bottom here. Hopefully it goes back upside, but 240 million, not horrible. So I think there's an opportunity for PaySafe to get a nice little move tomorrow, but I'm not buying anymore. I need this thing to settle down. We're going to give, like I said, the 3-day rule. So what the 3-day rule is just something that I follow, and it's like, you get bad news, and so you wait for that first day because the flush is going to happen. That's happened on PayPal, and that's what you're seeing. I mean, I can use PayPal as an example right now. So you see this big flush. This is a minute chart, so let's go to a daily chart. So you see the big flush there on PayPal, and that's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So right now it's trying to find a bottom down here, and it's going to give us that bottom hopefully and tell us where it is. So you can't. It's hard to find that after 1 day. So we'll wait for that. $200. So we give it a couple days off the bad news, and then you try to buy it just because you feel like, hey, if the stock meant to go down, it probably would have happened in the first 2 or 3 days after the release. So that's sort of the logic. It's worked out on a couple names, and it's not like a golden rule or anything, but that's kind of what I do on depressed names. So I bought PayPal today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Today's the third day, even though it's Thursday. It's the third, fourth day into that news, and we're still holding bottom. So we'll take that. Normally, I'd like to see it start to go back up, and I'll buy it on its moving back up, but so far, so good for PayPal. We've just bought some more today. We'll see where it goes, but that's the 3-day rule.
And thank you very much, Dominic, for the super chat. I mean, I was trying to keep count. I think it was like at least 3 or 4 on Trader Pratt and Ms. V show there. And once again, with a hot mover, this is back belays. 22, which we're sitting at right now, double top. If you go from the early morning action, a bit of a volume spike here as it broke 21 and taken out 22 on decent enough volume. You'll give it this look here, and again, sometimes I like to make it look a little bit more clean on a higher time frame chart because it's easier to see the significance of some of these floors. When you get these wiki areas here, if it does fail at 22, obviously this 21 level looks pretty interesting. And this breakout, there's a bit of a buyer on the stock. Just below that breakout price here at 21.76, and actually just getting chewed up right now that I just noticed. So I was going to say, if that level could hold, or you could have seen that bid tick back above 22, I think it's a cleaner break. Now, when you have the bid not follow the break, so the offer comes up and it looks like, hey, it's trading above 22. That breakout's good. Yeah, but the bid's not following it above that breakout at 22. That's what you wanted to see happen. If that size had moved up, I would have probably looked to go with a punch long, but not really seeing the bid travel with it. Brendo?
It's interesting to see the interest in IPOs kind of following through all week long. In fact, we've had a number of big movers. Here's a look at this one, guys. 6.25 million shares priced at $16. It opened at 19. So obviously some interest, as I was saying, but tiny, 6.25 million.
You know what's interesting about a lot of these? There's that initial move up, right?
And then they get smacked.
And then it gets smacked down, and it's almost like a lot. Like once it puts in a bounce range, so like this is like 1825 into like 1950, right? So then it holds a higher low, same top at 1950, higher low, same top at 1950, higher low, and then once it breaks, it doesn't retake any of that recent highest low or higher low that it put in. This is $19 even. It breaks out 1940, 1950 here, and then it maintains that 19 level, and then from there it becomes a hold. There's even another breakout at 1975 or $20 if you like it. A lot of times it's not that complicated. However, sometimes the smaller ones, IPOs, have to be on your radar. Sometimes the smaller IPOs have to be on your radar because the price action can be a little bit more simple. Thank you, Trader Pratt. That cracked me up, I'm not going to lie. But the breakout there, like I said, I don't love that break at 22 because the bid couldn't hold up with it. But certainly these patterns are pretty interesting when you look at these smaller, low-float IPOs. BLZE, good call out, and thank you, Dominic, for the super chat, because we shouldn't be sleeping on these as day traders ever.
No, I didn't trade news there, Kareem. So thanks for asking, but no, not me, not today on that name. But right now we are making that money. So Fisker, there it is, another one. We just took 10 cents on that. We're long at 96. It's at 06. We take the out. We'll wait to see if it wants to go back up. Hopefully it does. We've already targeted some Fisker spots right here. Hopefully it comes up into this 21.15 area is where we'll get out. But we're noticing, of course, that it stopped numerous times right here at 7 and 8, so on and so forth. So we're just hoping that we're able to get some out there on Fisker. So we are layered a little bit here to get out. Just make sure we are. Actually, no, we're not. My next offer is 17. We should probably get some more out right now. 10 cents is 10 cents. Like all we're really trying to do right now is stack up some of the cash that we've had today in our pocket. So let's just keep the positivity moving now with this going to the upside. We did get out a little bit more pay safe here. We got some out at 29. We got some out at 28 as, touch 22 back to the upside. No idea. We're long at 18 here. We're just making back what we did on the morning. We were long. So you can see we're long, and just wasn't good. That was the real out right there. We took a shot right there on the halt on PaySafe. It didn't work, and then that was, getting out there at 45. Like the halt was at 60, getting out at the 50 break, which looks like we got 46s or something. That was the damage maker right there. So that was the one that hurt. Everything else has been good. Like if we just leave PaySafe alone and start at about 950, then we're laughing at this stock all day. But we did take an early beatdown on that off that halt right there. So we took it long off the halt. It didn't work, and then there's the cash out right there. And then you could see in everything else is cash money as we move forward. But that's PaySafe, and just now it doesn't look like we're going to get too much action. So just putting some money, hopefully, back into our pocket on this name. Was that Brendan?
Pratt did actually. Somebody was saying Pratt did actually cover his camera. There's Pratt's camera. So we annoyed him apparently. That was hilarious. There's always another one though, Pratt, so you can't cover them all. ZipRecruiter, guys, just popping back up here, trying to hold some levels. 30.50 ends up being a little bit of support. Some volume coming back into ZipRecruiter.
Yes, sir. And good look there, Brad. Yeah, you can't hide around here.
Brad, just put in the chat. If you don't want it, they won't show it again.
EVGO just came up here. It stalled at 19. Enough is enough. It's a couple of lower highs. I've been wanting to shorten this name. It didn't make that 1850 break, but it had a previous high at 19 that we took for a breakout. So I like this level. I'll give it to this 1920 area. I want to get some out in front of 1850, and then I want to get some out in front of 1820, which is VWAP as well, guys. So I'm in the short now in EVGO. If you were bottom picking on a firm, congratulations. It's a bit of a bounce here that it just put in. Probably would need to go closer to like a 151, this little dip here, before I would have liked it, but it's trying to get back above VWAP. So it's one of the more deceiving up 15% that you will see, because most of the action this morning was selling. If it does get back up to the top, do not forget a big 160 seller here. Obviously, the trader Brad was pointing out, so it was on level 2, not just a round number, but clearly a level at that 160 worth watching if it does make a pop in the last half an hour or so.
Yeah, so AMC, when we left the show, thanks for bringing it up again, guys. When we left the morning show, I said that I liked that 39.50, and it broke, and I didn't take it. Like, it just wasn't around at that time, this 39.50, when it broke right here. It was 39.60, you guys recall. We talked about this level and that we liked the long. I should have a tick long right here. It was 12.30. Should have happened, didn't happen. There it goes right back up to $50. So that was a spot that I was looking at. Didn't take it, but that obviously was a good move for AMC today. Back up that 2 and a bit. I love this 39.50 area to protect it, and that's just bar-coded there. It's still trading around 39.50. For me right now, not really anything happening to get back into this. Just kind of a drop. I don't want to go short AMC, not into the close. I think there's more potential for it to rally, so we can wait. But if AMC does come back in here, 38.50 is a good level. Let me show you why. This is why we like that 39.50. It's been good for us the last little while. Yesterday we had the dip down. We don't trade it there. Sorry, that's today. Dip down in to 37, and that was a good long too. But I'm still looking at these levels. So 39.50, it's there right now. It's at 39.20, but some of these levels, it's actually 39.20, these levels, but I like the action in here around 39.50. So something to consider when you're looking at AMC. It won't be today, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Obviously, these 35 bottoms have been great. I still think you can go long this name. It's just you got to be very, very specific with your price. Please don't get caught up in anything like this, any crazy moves. AMC's already reported. Box office wise, I don't think it's going to be great winter for box office. You guys know that that's generally a summertime thing, but whatever. AMC could still get going again. It's holding out pretty good. It's holding out in the mid 30s. So when we're around here, we don't really want to play it. If it takes 39.50 again, we'll go long 39.50 today if it takes it. But for right now, AMC, I mean, here's the day chart. It's kind of just, like we always say, barcoding a bit here. So not doing much on the daily. There's the 35 that we talked about. So yeah, I think it's a sleepy stock right now. Definitely not like what it was in the past. So for right now, 39.50 break on AMC, we'll take it long. What's up, Brendo?
BGFV, guys. Not seeing a lot of people talking about it, but not seeing anything news related. But remember, this is a highly shorted name, so 16.5%. Just went 42 up to 46, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to add that one to the list. I just got it in, and then out, and then back in on EVGO. And I will say to the person that told me that Sundial was making a move into earnings, you got me to look. It's not really doing much of anything. So the break of that 1920 came, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, Neil, you wanted the short in front of 1950. So I just kind of jumped right back in. And that's the problem of shorting a lower high. It's like you put that stop at 1920 instead of 19. Would have made more sense to put the stop in at 19 in retrospect, and then just look to get back in when it took out this 1920. But once I've made the out, I'm then looking for the next trade. So it did stall out in front of that high of the day, 1950. If I was just patient, I would have been able to get this level in the first place, and then I wouldn't have had to have that loss in the midterm. That Affirm, by the way, just cracked VWAP at 154. I think all to the world, 160 is a bit of a short. And if I see size trail down on Affirm, like if that 160, maybe like a big seller shows up at 56, the same way it was at 160, I'd probably short the lower level as well. Rivian took out that 120, held 118, and is headed right back up to that potential 122 break. So It came, it went. Now it's trying to come back again for that break. For now, just into EVGO and still looking for that breakout on Rivian.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, our average price right now, all in said, you can see at the bottom there, open door, average price 33. So it hasn't traded the way we thought it would. We thought it would break this level and come back to the downside. Our out's going to be 50. So this is going to be a 17-cent hit on open door if and when it comes through. But I am bidding 35 right now, which is we're long at short, sorry, at 33. So we'll bid 35 right here. If it comes back in, we'll take a little bit off. We'll take out half. I mean, it's going to break through 50, so it doesn't matter, but that's going to be our out. Just double check to make sure that is our out. Yes, it is. So 50, it breaks through 50, will be gone on open door. So this one's not going to work out. But we have been taking our profits on Fisker. So we're long 96 on Fisker. We just took it out at some out. I think that was 17. What was that fill there? 15. So we took some 15 fills. So 04s, 08s, 15 there. So open door not working. Fisker is working. So it looks like it'll be kind of one of those like, you know, wish we did one and not the other type of experience here. But hopefully Fisker can keep going to the upside because it does look like, and this is what we get, man. I mean, we should have just gone long open door at that bottom. I mean, it was up for the day. So this is what I mean. It's just going to take a little bit of time here to figure this out. But I thought breaking that right there meant that we were going to go to the downside. Obviously, some of these positions don't really matter here. I think we should always, you know, it's just like Fisker. Like if you go long the stronger names on the day, I think that's going to have to be the play in the power hour. So we're going to figure this all out. PaySafe still bouncing around, and that's it, man. Open door, Fisker, and PaySafe, all that we have on, and then we're waiting for AMC, but that's knocked back down to 39. The SoFi out was good, man. I mean, that's, you know, for me, that's going to be the trade of the day, and I mean, we called it getting out. Felt bad getting out there because it does tick back a little bit to 24.10, but that looks like that's a good out, right? We could have bought the same bottoms there, but this is what I mean. Remember we were talking about buying some bottoms on SoFi? Look, it actually made an even lower bottom there. Like, why is that? So, I mean, why did that happen right there? That would have stopped me out. Like, then I'd be pissed now because we would have got stopped out on that break right there, 23, and it went to 22.60 there for no reason. There's that wick off bottom, by the way. Like, this is what I'm trying to notice. Like, right there, you get the big extension and then boom to the upside. There's the big extension and boom to the upside, right? Right here, we get out there, and this is what I was mad at. There's that extension to the upside. So, you know, you get these little wicks where the sellers and or buyers, if it's to the upside, are exhausted, and you got to take advantage of that. So, SoFi right there, wish we would have noticed that.
Yeah, and that Zip, I mean, it gets pretty interesting here. Again, the volume's tapered off on Zip, but if it gets a break of that 31, certainly going to be in play. You got 25 minutes for these things to happen. I think for the breakout, which looks like it's coming here in Rivian, I'd give that till closer to the end of the day. Like, I don't really mind taking a Rivian break on any key level, just given the way that it's traded and the momentum it's had. It's doing fantastic volume pretty much all day long. So I don't mind this top end break, even if I think it's a scalp to 125. I'm still going to take it here, even if it were to come in the next 5 or 10 minutes, a little bit closer. It's probably going to happen right now, but even if it were to come a little bit closer to the close, I'd probably still want to put this one on here. And that affirm, there's no size walking it down. I see nothing at 155. Looks like it's just that 160 in play. EVGO is still holding up at that high. So, I mean, I got 27.5 to the short side. It's gone on the money about 10 cents. It's gone out of the money about 10 cents for now. Seems to be holding, just like Rivian is holding and looking to make that breakout, which could come any minute. Now, that's what I want to have. I want to have one of these stocks that's actually moving. I made a note to remind myself that I want to trade, or at least I want to have Unity on my radar. After the strong move that it made today, it was a pretty clean break at 180 today. Got up to that 190. Actually just pulled back in here, but a very, very strong name. And I think on our video we talked about it as a metaverse type of play as well. But a nice breakout that's looming at 180, and it gave you the 180 level today. So, I want to make sure this is on the radar for tomorrow. After the deep pullback, I don't know if there's a trade for us for the close, but this is one that's had enough momentum that it should be worth it for a day trade. Come on, like there's 20,000 shares on the offer of Rivian. Should be able to chew through that, you'd think. But it's finding a little bit of resistance at that level. This is still Unity because obviously I was just looking at it. Yeah, but Rivian's trying to get through this 122. If I can show you, there it is. 187 on the offer at 122. Let's hope it gets murked and we can go long.
Yeah, so right now, thank God, man. I mean, put the money on the board right now as Open Door just came right back. So it's saving money there on Open Door, guys. Like we told you, you saw our average price was 33, right? So we just got out of half right there at 35. So basically a flat trade for us as Open Door comes right back down. So now hopefully every tick, remember our average price was 33, was it 33 or 34? Now it's showing me 40 because that's my last fill. We put out half of our position right there to get it for flat. So hopefully now we can work with the bottom move here on Open Door. If it takes out the top, I got to readjust my stop order now because it's for half the amount of shares. Okay, so today's show brought to you by PaySafe, and if it comes back down here, breaks 420, we gone out of PaySafe. So if that does happen, you know that we're gone out of PaySafe. So I'm just going to hold out hope that we rip up to the bottom. Maybe there's a buy imbalance on this thing, and it will head back to the upside. So that's going to be PaySafe as we look for that. So that's going to be a call for me now. Getting out of this right where we're at. That's PaySafe. Fisker, we've emptied it out already at the top there. We still have a position, but that was a good one. And Open Door trying now to come back down, but this was going to be a flat trade for us. I'm flat on Open Door today. Hopefully we get a move down here into the close.
And that was, I don't know, it was kind of relatively easy, that break at 122. So, I mean, if you're going to put an offer out there on the strongest stock in the world the last couple of days, maybe don't put a 187 and a target on your back. So 122 broke. I got slipped to 10, so 10 cents actually isn't that bad. I already scalped some out for that first dollar. Going to look for the second one here in front of 124. And if it wasn't for this triple top at 125, that was such a great short, I'd be thinking about holding through the high, but it was just so much resistance. It's such a nice round number, 125, when 100's a key level as well, that I do feel like it could stall out going into the end of the day. Super strong stock, so I want to try to give it some room to run and hang on to a bit as long as I can going into the close, but I'm not going to complain. If it does stall up here in the next 10 minutes, I might just take the rest out, red at 123. I don't want it to turn red. Rivian's been such a great name. I wish I had held on to that short, but you cannot cry over spilt milk. You have to move on to the next trade, and sometimes it means, not getting the dip here at 115 sucks. Not getting the dip at 118 sucks. The 122 break was there. You just still have to be able to take it, even if it's at a price that you could have had $4 better. Once it's come and gone, it's come and gone. The breakout is what's on now.
Okay, so we've adjusted our stop loss there for Open Door. It's 340, so the imbalances still have 10 minutes to come out. So before those come out, watch out for that. Disney, okay, we can look at Disney again. We talked about it on our sticky note there that we were going to go long at 161 today. We did that, got busted as it broke through 160. But right now, Disney, let's try to look here. And again, not doing much. Like if this was starting to make a move here, looking to break through that 162. So we'll see if the imbalances are going to be negative, but that 162 break could get us back down into about a 160 or so if it's a negative imbalance. So we'll wait for that one. More news, Brendan?
Just reading through a earnings report for Edgewell Personal Care. Wow, $1.01. This is a small stock. This is a small cap for sure. Yeah, right on, $2 billion. EPC just made a day high there. You can see huge volume came in through 44, I guess, but a big move up, obviously, 40 to 44 for Edgewell Personal Care. I think they make shaving products, face products for men, guys.
How do you know everything?
He has Icon right there.
Okay, fine. So you not think they make. Brendan knows what they make. Edgewell is certainly a good one to put on the radar. But I just threw an offer in front of 124 on Rivian. And it doesn't even matter. It just feels like once you throw out an order out there, it tries to run away from it. Maybe it gets to 124 again. Hopefully it does. I don't want this breaking 121.50. EVGOs worked back into the money for me and then back to flat. So it does seem like as we let Rivian run, the EVGOs found this high, retested the 1950, well, more like 1945, came right back into where we're shorting the middle of the range. It needs to break 1920 before I start taking profit. I'm not really trying to trade inside of the range here. I'm looking to have a price right at that average, allow it to go break the high of the day and take that. Otherwise, I want it to flush a little bit further, guys. So these are the two that I like for the end of the day. Someone was just saying in the chat, and I did see it, that Rooted pulled back. For me, once I didn't have this long anymore from the 562 break or the reload, it was just scalp trades. It was just 6 to 625 and 625 to 650. And once you don't have those, the day trader gets to the end of the day. If 650 broke, fantastic. Maybe if it had consolidated at 6 even and maybe made a bounce back to the upside, there could have been a long, but those things never happened. So if you unload that original price, which I wish I had not done so, I should have gotten back in. This is entirely my mistake, because we had this dark pool wick that came down to 540 that stopped me out of my root long, and I just never jumped back into it. I'm not complaining. Jumping back in at that time at that exact price maybe didn't have to do, but certainly when it retested the same level at 11 o'clock throughout lunchtime or just before lunch, I should have been back in when it came to that price. These are going to happen. We have a couple of different stop orders we can use. One that ignores those prints on the tape, and then one that doesn't. The safer one to use is the one that respects every single print on the tape, because then it's a little bit faster. But every now and then you get wicked out and you want to get back in. EVGO, like I just said, sometimes if you just talk about the stock, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to take anything until it breaks 1920. It breaks 1920. I got some out in front of 19. I got bids all the way down here, like 90s, 93, bidding in the low 80s as well. And then we'll see if it can't get down into VWAP here. I should probably, let's break those up a little bit. Because now that it looks like it's got a bigger capitulation candle, I think I'd rather have something like one in front of like that 1880 or 1875 area, another close at 1850, and then maybe you can get down to VWAP. We are running out of time to hold on to this trade, but hey, I want to give it some room to run. It is now a triple top at 1950, so if this is the high of the day, I think I had a good shot at one that can come down to VWAP.
Yeah, I just want to bring everyone's attention. I mean, we've talked about Newsy a little bit right here, but don't. Good, William Craig. He's long Palantir. I think that's a good call, especially at these levels. Oh, yeah, this is the third day. We'll have a look at Palantir quickly. Or it's the second day, sorry, Palantir. Right here, 485 right now. I just don't want anyone caught here on Newsy. So, like if you're long up here and you're hoping that it comes back, could it come back tomorrow? Yes, it can. But at the same time, like if it breaks this 480 or anything like that, I don't know where this thing's going to wind up tomorrow. So I just feel that you could be holding the bag for quite a long time here on this if it breaks that 480. So I think that if you're trading this today and you're pretty risk adverse, that's fine. Or if you're risk adverse, maybe you're not trading this. But I think you got to get out if it breaks this 480. Otherwise, if it's not a big position, then you could hold it and hold out for that hope, I think. But other than that, man, I'd be very, very careful. It's 490, 480. I mean, call it what it is. I just get nervous that if that breaks, then you could drop $1. And I know that some of you may have thousands of shares because it's only $5 a stock. So just be very, very careful if that does break. Wow, SoFi back down. I mean, this was another name, man, that you could have rang the register on SoFi today. And I think maybe you should have if you're long this name. Is there a possibility for a better day tomorrow? Sure. The Nasdaq's only up 0.29. SoFi's still up. They obviously had earnings. It's going to be the trade of the day. But again, I feel like we're going to look back and be like, we saw this top. It's the same example. I mean, I'll give you guys DraftKings here because now it just pops into my head. It's the same thing that I did on DraftKings. It failed. Let's go DraftKings. It failed up here. So again, we let it go all the way back into $64. We're long here. We're long in the 30s. We're long down here on this. It was a great move. We reloaded it back at 40. Actually, 30s is even back down there. That's in a different account. Sorry, the one account we're long in the 40s. It comes up here, and then once it breaks back down, we're able to get out at 62 right there. And then now you're seeing where it's going. Actually, this is going to be a reload spot for DraftKings. I mean, I know there's some stuff happening with Penn, but I mean, this should get bought on DraftKings right here. If anybody's thinking about going long DraftKings, there is also consolidation at the 35 level that you're going to see if it does come back in right down here. Yeah, right here. So there was some 35 love. This is where I actually started my DraftKings position, was into this spot here, and we've been getting in and out of it. We're pretty light on it right now. So I think you can start to build DraftKings at 40. But if you look, I just equate this level here to sort of what we were seeing on SoFi, where you've already come up to this level. So I think a drop back down in here for SoFi could happen, and if it does, I think you're looking at a reload around 19.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. So one of the coolest things that you should do is anytime you're trading something, you're looking at a position, if you can find a related not stock but setup, just go back to that and hey, this reminds me of that. Go back, pull up that chart and learn from it. And along those lines, I mean, I'd love to hear Prad's thoughts on Roblox one day because I think he would have a lot to say about that stock. Pfizer here broke through that 50 level. I've said this. It's kind of, for me, it's always been more of a a dividend type play, like a safe place to go, and it's got some runway, and it's got a lot of this Vax and the new COVID pill that's given it some momentum. So ringing the register on some of these is just more about a maintenance thing, not wanting it to be too much of the old portfolio here as it reaches this high. But look, if it continues, you're going to have a double top, very similar to what we just saw over there at 52. If it breaks through and follows through to that 52 level, which is going to be very actionable for us as day traders, probably another level if you've been holding out to take profit, why not? And then looking for that as a resistance point there. Speaking of resistance, with only 12 minutes to go, wow, this feels like, and we're on for like 2 hours now, but I kind of feel like we're saying it was like 3 o'clock, like not too long ago. But this EVGO load, this EVGO has now managed to hold 19 the other way. So I'm not really changing too much yet, but I've only taken the first quarter off here, and I might need to get a little bit more aggressive in the next minute or two getting out. I only have the last of Rivian, which holding a Rivian long when it's blowing up just feels a little safer than sort of sitting on EVGO, which is near the high of the day, and not taking profit. So I should probably practice what I preach, get on the bid in front of 19, take another leg out, and then I can cancel probably the VWAP bid because it doesn't feel like it's going to have enough time to get there, adjust my stop order to make sure that I'm not getting a long that I don't want. So, again, just maintenance. And this is the kind of thing, if it was earlier in the day, I probably don't make that change. I stay with the short. It's a double top. It's a lower high. It looks pretty good. But we only have 11 minutes to go, and then we got to be flat. So have to make those types of adjustments. Hey, I mean, if it flushes here, that means I've given some money away. But at the same time, it is a strong stock that I'm shorting off the high of the day with only 10 minutes to go.
Right, and that's the other thing too, right? Is that understand that the time of day, like Neil and I have to be flat right at 4 o'clock or close enough to 4 o'clock, right? So we're going to wait on that one right here as we just start to get out more Fisker as it's trying to go upside here. So we will see about getting out of some Fisker. Hopefully, as it continues to go up, our PaySafe is doing absolutely nothing. Right now, I'm just waiting, guys, for those imbalances to come through. So when they come through, we'll show them there for you live on the screen. So yeah, punch AMC long. Yeah, maybe we should have done that. And then, hopefully get rewarded. Let's see, where is AMC right now? Okay, 39. We were still waiting for it. And again, we're waiting for that that 38.50 level, 39.50 level right there. But, may come into play. That was a great bottom again, 39. Wow. So whatever. I mean, I'm excited for, like I said, I'm excited for AMC. I think it's been trading quite well. Some of the levels have held out pretty nicely there on AMC. So far, so good. It's just, one of those risky spots taking long right now ahead of the imbalances. So we'll wait to see where they come out at, and hopefully it'll be to the upside. Rivian as well. Hopefully they all come out at some point and we see where we go from there. But here they are right now. So let's open up the imbalances and have a quick look. DM, so we'll put it over here so we can see AT&T, Dell. I mean, these are all small here today. There's Palantir as a buy. So whatever. Palantir is just barcoding right now this afternoon. We're going to wait till tomorrow to buy that name. But that'll be Palantir being bought tomorrow. We'll see where that goes, but that's going to be one of my plays. Cisco, BAC, there's really nothing on here, guys. So AT&T, whatever. I don't even know what DM is. And that's just moving 1.39. And my chart's not loading. So nothing on the imbalance locator.
Yeah, pretty boring there, but it's 350, so another leg out. And 19 just seems to, on EVGO, 19 just seems to have a bit of a refresher here over and over again. So I just jumped in front of it, taking 01s. Probably looks like it's a good decision. If it cannot break 19 even, likely chance, this could be a runner. And holding consecutive higher lows and what looked like a great short to me, parabolic move up, stalls right here at the high of the day. I'm like, I thought I had this one. If anything, I probably should have been adding at 1930 and it would have been a better scalp trade. But either way, strong move here that I don't want to get caught too badly on the wrong side of. And, Rivian, which I'm like, yeah, EVGO is going to flush. It's going to be a winning trade. And then Rivian, yeah, it's going to give me that extension through to 124. We're going to get that 125. No, I'm going to take this one out and get stopped back out here. So this is me getting greedy. Rivian's still my best stock on the day, but that's pure unadulterated. Like, I could have easily just taken it all out in front of like 134, 120, 123 and a half. It was almost like a free money breakout trade at 122 once that big offer got taken out there that was sitting there. But I try to hold for a bigger home run, only an extra $1 on the trade. Don't get it, and I'm taking a hit on the last of the shares. So that's greed personified. I always wanted to check in on two things. One is Affirm, which from that 160 seller, so I'm going to make sure I note that price tomorrow. From that 160 seller, it is continuing to head back into the downside, and it might take out that support at 151 that it had after it made its bounce. So Affirm looks like it's ending the day with some weakness, as is, to a small extent, Roblox. Is that pullback off of 100? You're doomed if you don't type in the right extension the first time. Load, there we go. Pulled back off that 100, so 1, 2, 3 times it tests 100. The positive news for this is it's held VWAP rather nicely, so still does set up to continue what has been a fantastic breakout on the daily. What you just want to see happen here is, we can zoom out a little bit. Now you have a nice little floor. You're trying to hold a higher low, and then this 100 breakout is going to look really, really good as long as we've held a higher low here, so a double bottom there, and then a higher low. This sets you up nicely for potential 100 break on Roblox tomorrow. That should be an exciting one to trade.
Yeah, I mean, Roblox is always exciting to trade,
true,
especially lately on what's been happening with Roblox. So, yeah, good call there on that name, Fisker. I mean, we're just getting out now. It's not doing anything. We thought that maybe there would be an imbalance there for Fisker. Didn't, bless you. It didn't look like there was one. So we're going to stay out of the way here on Fisker and not get into too much trouble anymore today. Our pay safe is just going to get cracked out right now. We're going to get out at 419. We're long at 418. We've been getting out, so this is going to be no skin off our back here. And we just have a very small position. Was, of course, hoping that this would blow to the upside, but yeah, Fisker today, or sorry, PaySafe today, what a disaster. My worst name, but significantly better than it was early, and we finally found some levels. So I think, you know, from learning anything today, our SoFi, our first trade, I mean, SoFi is one of my top stocks today as well, and you know, if learning anything, don't take trades right away, especially if they're going to be earnings plays, because you know you don't know what's going to happen. Like right here, boom, right to the upside, SoFi, right? So you're like, yeah, this is a long, but then it comes crashing back down. So and then you got to pick your spots. We identified 2250, so we took 23 ahead of that number anyway. So that's a good take for me there. SoFi all the way to the upside, and that was a good out there as well. So you know that's what's happened. We're going to learn our lesson. I'm excited to see the earnings board because honestly, I can't remember what's on there for tomorrow, so we'll wait to see. Oh, you know what I want to do? Check back in on Coinbase because we sold some. Okay, good. So I guess I got to buy back in at some point. We did get out at 360 before earnings on Coinbase, and we were sad that we weren't able to buy back at 310, but maybe we retest there one more time. Brendan, I believe.
Almost like you were reading my mind, Sean. Here we go. This is what is to come, as we said. Kind of getting towards the end, guys, of earnings, but still some notable ones on there.
All right, there we go. Keep that up there.
Ride moved today, so Lordstown obviously is going to be worth watching. It had a nice breakout that I don't think we took enough advantage of in today's action. Of course, fun where I think we already discussed. You know, I'll probably, if things move to the upside on Sundial, you have a good idea what I'll probably do with that.
I don't own any of those names, so but right now we'll just look forward and see. You know, looking at
you don't own Backed?
I don't know. I don't own Backed. I don't own any of those other ones there. There's a lot of recent IPOs on there, right? You see Joby on there. You're seeing Backed. You're seeing a lot of these plays there. Funware right in the middle. I think that could be the most exciting one. But yeah. Oh, Warby Parker there, the glasses. And so I don't know. It doesn't look super exciting to me, but some of you do have some interest in a lot of those names, as we know, because we trade them on the show, and you let us know about that. So there it goes. That's the earnings board. Thank you so much. And again, of course, you know, a day to remember today. I don't think you can say Happy Remembrance Day or Veterans Day, but just, you know, we're supporting it here on the show. We had a nice tribute this morning. So again, thank you guys.
You know what's cool? Okay, here's one of those things. Like, there are very few holidays or whatever. I guess, I mean, some places it's a holiday, sometimes it's a banking holiday, but there are very few holidays where, like, unanimously, like, everybody respects and celebrates it. This gets to be one of them. That's why I think makes it special. And again, so I mean, Backed. We're sitting here and I was thinking, like, what's moving, what's not moving. Sometimes you look at that earnings board and it's like, maybe we should do it earlier because that put in a nice move. We came on at 2 o'clock. This is Backed at 2 o'clock, breaking out at 25.5, holding 25.5 support, going to $28, pulling all the way back into VWAP, bouncing to 27, all the way back into VWAP. Now setting up to potentially at the right at the close when it's going to report 26 even, holding fort. So a lot of times you're looking for a mover, find out what's reporting that night or in the morning the next day, and you could have one. Got to get out of this EVGO at some point. But it looks like it might not have that follow through 19 even. I might have to take it out right here. And of course, Rivian, of course.
Right back up. There's no stopping that stock, man. I mean, we talked about that. It was right on the watch list. I mean, I don't know
Should
if
have
it was
just
on
held. Be like, why even have a stop?
It was
Just
on the
hold
sticky
it.
note. It was only long. I basically wrote one word, and there it is today. And I only have that one trade early on it, so all good. We actually didn't get clocked out of our pay safe. Look at this. There's a big order there, 800,000 shares sitting there on the NYSE. So I'm offering 22. We'll see if we can get it. It'll probably take this 20 out, like unbelievable. But there's 800,000 shares, and that's what it looks like on our level. So they don't want to break 21 because they know this is sitting there. So we'll see if we get some 22s. I thought we got out already on this, but it didn't break. So you see there, 800,000 shares holding. I don't have anything else on the go right now. Oh, there it is. So now we'll see. It'll probably take it out. If it doesn't, then hopefully we'll get our 22 on the way back up, and that will be the end of that. So that's going to be pay safe today. Oh, it was gone. Back and forth. With only 2 minutes to go, let's just check out the imbalances. There's no point in waiting for that. There's nothing happening. Palantir for a buy. Ooh, nice little buy. Back to $23. So I like that. I like that a lot. The bottom yesterday, 22. Back to 23, making it not look as bad anymore as Palantir. See, this is what's supposed to happen on the imbalances, guys. Look at Palantir. Just went up off the imbalances there. So as soon as imbalances came out, boom, 350. You can see where's 350. It's right here. So right there, 350. Bid imbalance. We showed it to you. There it goes right to the upside. So sometimes you got to go on those. But okay, yeah, of course. Pay safe.
I just want to answer a quick question. Someone was asking, and I put it in the chat, but someone was asking, why wouldn't I just average down if I like the long Rivian? It's like it's an end of the day thing. It's like you don't want to be trading a clock, but when you're day trading, you have to be flat at the end of the day. When it gets close to 4, it becomes a consideration. So it's like I say it every time. It's tighter stops, earlier profit targets than you might be doing normally. That was certainly an opportunity where I could have given it an extra, dollar or so reasonably, or even a couple of bucks to 120, and then I would have been averaging in when it held this level and getting more at 122, and then I could have actually been riding it all the way to that 125 because it got to 124 and a half. So that's the kind of move that you're making. Earlier on in the session, I was doing all kinds of stuff like that. Like here, multiple entry points, pullbacks, same thing, average in, did the same thing at 116 when it was making that break. So you can get a little bit more nuance when you don't have to worry about the clock here at the end of the day. So that was really the reason there. But it's a fantastic question. As a day trader, you might have to change your strategy a little bit going into 4 o'clock because you have that wall. 30 seconds to go.
Yes, sir.
It looks like I didn't jinx it. The NASDAQ is still going to end up in positive territory. Halfway, thank you, Ms. V. She's in the plaid like Sean, but hers has the green. So green day for the NASDAQ. Valerie in the green, of course. Happy Remembrance Day. And, of course, Veterans Day as well. As I drop the countdown, that's why we got our poppies. Good day, I want to say. Exciting moves for sure. Still some earnings to get to, but it is Rivian week.
Yes. 5,
4, 3, 2, ring it.
It's kind of EV week. I mean, we had Tesla. What big news for Tesla this week. So EV week continues. Tesla closes at about 1065 there, Brendan. How did the markets wind up?
Closed on me, but let's have a look. There we go. Pretty flat overall. It's better than it was. We'll talk about that a little bit. The Dow 0.37 to the downside. S&P. If you look at the chart, an intraday chart from the S&P, it was just a back and forth kind of ping pong game all day long. And hey, guess what? It ended up dead flat. NASDAQ a little bit positive. So overall, nothing to see here. We're much better, I guess, than where we started in the pre-market this morning, guys.
What could possibly have dragged down the Dow? I can't think of what name would have been. Anyways, thank you, Disney.
Yeah, it's going to be Disney.
Way to go, Disney.
It's going to be Disney.
just ruining everything, Disney.
Yeah, Disney. Where did Disney even close? I know maybe just mentioned it there. Did it close?
I don't think it was that bad.
163. Yeah, 162. So yeah, that's pretty bad. We're lucky that we cashed them out yesterday at 175. It could be way worse.
It was at 158.
It was on our 158. But whatever. 158, 162 at this point. I still think we could retest that 158. So we'll see where it goes from here. I'm not seeing any earnings coming across right now. So not much to do. I want to give a big thank you, obviously, to Prad and to Miss V. Prad's been on this show. Thank you, Prad, again. And thank you, Miss V, for everything that you guys are doing and spinning on the 1s and 2s over there. Rob and Lucas, thank you so much for another big day. We can't be the best show on YouTube without some people working in the back. So thank you so much to all you guys as well. They make us look good. And obviously, thanks to Brendan. Lots of news. Every day, there's tons and tons of news in this market. And if you're looking for some of those little stocks to trade, there's no better show, period. We're bringing you every single mover and shaker all day now. I mean, literally all day, right? Memes and Movers starts 11 till 2. We're back 2 to 4. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 8:30. It should be a good one. Tonight, we might as well tell everybody because we're going to be sad tomorrow, right? Did you lock it in or no? We're going to take Baltimore.
Well, I did lock it in. Lock it in.
The only thing is we're going to change our mind. Brendan's like, what's going on? We're talking about soccer.
No, I was wondering why you said you were going to be sad. Why?
Yeah, because we're in so how it works is we're in a suicide pool. So you got to pick a winning team every week, and you can't use the same team twice. Gotcha. So we're out of a lot of the good teams now.
Yeah, can't pick the Bills.
Yeah, so we're starting to now take some risks on games. So tonight is Miami-Baltimore. We're going to take Baltimore on the money line. All we need is a straight win. What do you think, Brendan? Baltimore or Miami?
No idea.
No.
Exactly. He's like, whoever scores the first goal, right? That's who he's going to take. Anyways, we're very, very excited for it. I'll be watching it tonight. Should be fun. I got to take the kids to gymnastics and to karate, so should be a good one. And has she started gymnastics yet?
She's had one class so far. She's loving it. But you know what? It's annoying. We're only allowed to go with her for the first 2, and then after that we just drop her off. Which I'm not happy
it's
about
gathering.
that at all.
Our government still doesn't let people gather, but yet the stadiums are full.
I can go to a Jays game with like 30,000 fans, but I can't watch my daughter the third week of.
What just happened now?
I like that.
Okay, I see how it is. They're like, let's get out of here.
Accent.
Whatever, fine. That's how you want to be, Rob.
Accent.
Okay.
All right, 4:03, guys.
Do that again.
SoFi. We will see you guys tomorrow. Ciao. Have a great evening.
Bye, guys.